Tonight I want to give you a tale of two women. And the reason why we can't get things straightened out because things are just wacky out there right now. A lot of you have already seen about the interview with Kendra G when she went on Tamron Hall's program, but there's a lot. Nobody is really getting this right. Nobody's getting it right. But after tonight, you'll have it right all the way straight down the middle. So I want to play some key parts of this for you. I'm not going to do the stuff that most other folk out there have done because they really missed the point. They really, really did. I actually sat and I watched it and they missed the point. So I want to go over that with you here. Let's go ahead and start with this first part right here.
Yes.
What makes it, Kendra, a battlefield?
I think now because of social media, it's the gift and the curse because now we're all connected. But that fine man you had to worry about just in New York, no, he worldwide now. He got girls in Italy, Mexico, California. So the guy that most women want, he has so many options. Italy, Mexico, California. So the guy that most women want, he has so many options. California. So the guy that most women want, he has so many options.
Okay. So that is the first and really most important thing about what we have to talk about here tonight. A lot of folks did not zero in on that. I didn't hear anybody really zero in on that and actually flesh it out. They hit it in passing when in reality, that's the super major point right there. That's what it's all about. Without that part in context, it doesn't really clarify for you how silly the rest of pretty much everything else that people have to say going forward means. It's been ridiculous after that. And it's ridiculous, especially when you keep it in that context. So she told you what the first problem was right then. Now, then she goes on here, and I'm going to try to be kind. I really, really am. I'm going to try to be kind, but we're going to go to the next part here. And a lot of folks talked about this, but they missed the point on this too.
Landscape. Future proofing.
Yes.
Kendra.
Oh, you got to have a job. You have to have an ambition that's going to go somewhere for sure. I want to see W-2 forms. I want to see success records. I want to meet your mama. I want to know where you live. Is it in your name? Is it? I need to see the lease because sometimes
Kendra, I'm not good enough to date it.
Now, did you hear that? She said, you got to have a job, remember? That was the first thing she said, remember?
Proofing.
Yes.
Kendra.
Oh, you got to have a job. You have to have an ambition that's going to go somewhere for sure.
You have to have a job and you have to have an ambition that's going to go somewhere for sure. So you notice how she started as if she were being perfectly reasonable. Well, you have to have a job. Okay, well, having employment, that's part of being an adult. So that seems to be pretty reasonable and pretty basic. And then she starts slathering on slab after slab of more and higher qualifications. So in other words, she threw the job thing right out the window. That's the point I want you to get.
I want to see W-2 forms. I want to see success records. I want to meet your mama. I want to know where you live. Is it in your name? Is it? I need to see the lease because sometimes
Kendra, I'm not good enough to date it. If I were, let me tell you, because we're talking about it from the female gaze to the male. I'm just talking in general. If I had gone on a date with someone and they started asking me about my W-2s and my bank account, they would have been seeing the gas come out of the pipes of my car.
Yes.
Because that's too, I'm intimidated now.
Well, because women are tired of wasting their time.
Okay, first of all, the word is not intimidated, Tamron. The word is not intimidated. The word is invasive. It is not that is too intimidating. That is too invasive. Why do you need to know that? Are you going to pay the damn bills? So that's the problem, ma'am. So you see, even here, they're being cagey and evasive with each other. No, that word is invasive. Not intimidating. Invasive. Why would you give a woman that much knowledge about you when that knowledge can be used against you? Please remember, you're dealing with females today who they don't even want to tell you what their age is.
Nigga, please.
Keep that in mind. The average female today, I mean, she'll be with 4 kids by 4 different dudes, and she'll tell you that she doesn't want to give you her age. She will sit there and balk about giving her age and yet she wants to have information that usually has to be subpoenaed by a prosecuting attorney or the IRS. And what benefit is it to you to give that information to her? How does that help you? How is she even qualified to be able to even evaluate it? What is it about your income that she has plans and designs on? That's the reason why that's invasive. What is it about a person's income that you have designs on? So when you start hearing that, it's like, yeah, there's all kinds of red flags right there. All kinds of red flags right there. Now listen to this next part.
I'm intimidated now.
Well, because women are tired of wasting their time. I'm talking from the woman's perspective.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't want to make you be already made. I don't got clay. I'm not magic.
But guys don't want that either. They don't want to make us.
I don't want to have to make you. I want you to be already made. What does she define as made? Because she's not talking about the average guy when she says made. She's talking about rich. She is not talking about the average man. She's not talking about working class. She's not talking about a professional. She's talking about a man who can provide both her and him with the ideal lifestyle that she imagines. So when she says she wants you made, she doesn't mean you can have a job. She's like, oh, there's a specific income you got to have. So that's where things get real dicey and real exploitative. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Now, I'm going to go forward just a little bit more here. I'm going to go forward a little bit more because there's one more thing I want you all to hear. There's one more part in here, and nobody that I've seen anywhere got this, so of course they didn't. They didn't get this, but boy, oh boy. Listen to this part here. And before I even get started, no disrespect to anyone. No disrespect at all. But I think it's essential to clarify this for everyone so we have proper context.
More generally, we are so like nurturing and we can see us like building a life together, at least for me.
Where these women at? They don't call my show. They're not trying to work.
So
You better
I've
come
struggled.
Like the one that calls my show, like I love that Tamron was open to a pizza date. These girls like 5-star restaurant on day one before you get my first name. And that's the issue though, because you see how Tamron, who richer than all of us, child, you know, and very successful, was willing to go on a pizza date, and now she's married to the man of her dreams. So we need more Tamrons to understand that, listen, you can be a boss woman, but the things that matter more, don't make it so high just to date dreams. So we need more Tamrons willing to go on a pizza date. Very successful, was willing to go on a pizza date, and now she's married to the man of her dreams. And very successful, was willing to go on a pizza date, and now she's married to the man of her dreams.
I'm very glad she said that. So Tamron Hall allegedly, supposedly, was, quote, willing to go on a pizza date, and now she has the man of her dreams. I'm very glad that Kendra G brought that up. This is Tamron Hall, and this is the man of her dreams. Oh, don't worry, I didn't just bring receipts, I brought invoices. This is Tamron Hall, and that is the man of her dreams. Now, I have to wonder to myself, how many black men did she swerve around, swing around, sling around, swan dive over, somersault past to end up with him? He's older, clearly. Either that or he's had a lot of struggle because he's already grayed out. That ain't sexy, that's not cute, unless you have a Electra fetish. But I'm not trying to diss nobody. I'm just saying tall, dark, and handsome. Ladies, how many of you out there, hey, that's the man of your dreams? Because remember, as I was saying at the beginning, remember Kendra G was saying that, by the way, you all want the same man.
It's A battlefield out there.
It is.
Yes.
What makes it, Kendra, a battlefield?
I think now because of social media, it's the gift and the curse because now we're all connected. But that fine man you had to worry about just in New York, no, he worldwide now. He got girls in Italy, Mexico, California. So the guy that most women want, he has so many options. And every woman wants the same man child. Every woman wants the same man child. Every woman wants the same man child.
Okay. Just thought that we would sit back and with a moment of quiet reflection with a visual aid on the screen. Ladies, so sorry that you all missed out. Tamron is winning. Tamron is winning big. If the rest of you could get your act together, you would have what Tamron has. But hey, them's the breaks. She's got the man of your dreams. The man of your dreams is with her. And if the rest of you could have got your act together, then maybe you could have, but just understand, read them and weep, ladies, read them and weep. So first and foremost, from Kendra G and Tamron Hall, just wanted to let all you ladies know that you missed out. She swooped in and she qualified, and that was it. The rest of y'all are just sitting on the sidelines. So all you ladies out there, please try to keep the envy and the jealousy down to a low boil. Please try to keep the envy and jealousy down to a low rumble, please. It's unbecoming. According to them. Man of your dreams. All right, why do I get the suspicion that Tamron Hall, was just hanging out there? She was getting older. The men that she actually desired, they wasn't really digging it. So old boy here was willing to wait his turn. And he did. He was willing to wait his turn. And there he is. And I'm just saying, you take a look at that, right? She can literally look down on the top of his head. What? I mean, she can literally... Ladies, I'm just saying, very clear. Look, you are unwilling to compromise. You are unwilling to make concessions. You are unwilling to realize that something's got to give. And she gave, and I've been saying this for the longest time when you talk about pinching, pimping. When fellas reach a certain point, and I may do the pinch and pimping program next week. What? In light of this, I may do the pinch and pimping program next week because this is Exhibit A right here. Do you think that the Tamron Hall of 20 years ago, the Tamron Hall of 15 years ago, that this guy, if his picture showed up on Match.com, Tinder, Bumble, if this guy's profile picture showed up, do you think that she would say, whoa, she's just furiously smashing the message button? The Tamron Hall of 20 years ago, do you think that if his picture showed up as one of the profiles on Tinder or Bumble, that she would have swiped past everybody else, and when she saw him, blam, slammed on the brakes? And she's hitting that DM button. Do you? Do you? Because when chicks smash into that wall, then they come back trying to rewrite their history. And it's like, and I'm not bombing on you. I'm just saying, hey, baby, don't insult all of our intelligence by sitting up here acting as if the race is winning. We all see this for what it is. And it's like, hey, this is the best you could do. And that's cool. Don't try to act like you're outdoing the rest of us. Because there's not a bunch of women who are lined up because they want him. It's like, baby, you need to bail out. This was the last train leaving. And you got your ticket to ride for as far as he'll take you. But please don't act like this is a flex, because then you put us in a position of having to open your eyes to the light of day and letting you know what the real is. So please, folks, don't let people get your feelings hurt and get yourself laughed off the internet because you're trying to flex on something that's not really a flex. And other folk had to sit up here and say, okay, let's just get down to the real here. Let's just go ahead and keep it on the level. Hey, baby, if he was willing to take you, that's great. That's wonderful. But please stop making an ass of yourself and insulting our intelligence as if there was some stiff competition, because according to Kendra G, there was stiff competition here. There was stiff competition. Chicks was throwing elbows. According to them. That's what I'm saying. In the chat room, you see a whole bunch of fellas in there talking about Tamron Hall show is fine. You just mean she's fine to sleep with. You are not trying to figure out how to buy a Bentley for her. You are not trying to figure out how to rent an apartment on Fifth Avenue for her. You're not trying to figure out how to make any sort of long-term anything. You got plans for tonight for what she can do for you. You have absolutely no intentions whatsoever of doing anything for her. Nothing. And when you say she fine, you grading on a curve. It's a great big long range and she's somewhere on the far end. One of that literally, that's not a compliment. When fellas say she fine, that's not a compliment. That's not a compliment. That's just saying, I see how I can use you. But that's not a compliment. That's not a compliment. You just like, hey, she's sexable. Okay, name the females who aren't sexable. And that's all it means. Like, well, if I woke up next to her, I wouldn't sit up here and jump out of a window. Okay, but that's not a compliment. So this is where she landed. And I'm not dissing anything except to say, okay, let's go ahead and put all this in its proper perspective. If you're going to flex, make sure you actually have a flex. If you're going to flex, make sure you actually have a flex. If you're going to tell folks they need to get like you, please make sure that when you say those words or when you imply that, please make sure that everything is in place. Please make sure of that. Because people need to have actionable information here. They need to have actionable information. Yes, Tamron Hall is 54 years old. Damn! So this really just tells you that males' standards when it comes to sex, because they don't mean being providers. They certainly do. You don't, when you say she fine, you don't mean she's so fine I would raise her lifestyle and raise her status or support her status. That ain't what you mean. You just mean, ooh, I wish she would give me some sex, but 54 years old. It's like, do you realize how liberal your standards have to be for you to be saying that? I'm just saying, dude, you got 24-year-olds out there. You got guys sitting up here telling she's 54. She looks good. Okay. It's, like I say, there's a reason that the females are out of pocket. And this is why. Right there. It's because the fellas will say anything. She's supposed to be aged out, fellas. 54 years old. What the hell are you going to do with that? Tell me, what in the hell are you going to do with a 54-year-old? How much investment can you make in a 54-year-old? Do I have to be brutally honest right now? Okay, let's just keep it all the way real on the bricks. What type of investment are you trying to make in a 54-year-old? What are your plans? Tell me what your schedule and your plan is for a 54-year-old. Since you want to talk about she fine and ooh, she look good. Great, she looks good enough for what? When you say that she looks good for 54, good enough for what? Because you notice none of these guys ever tell you what the good enough is for. She look good. Good enough for what? Good enough for what? And all you really mean is that, hey, look here, she won't get in I don't think she'll kick over my Xbox. Okay. But you have no plans for her. Well, they'll lay up with anything, so she's good enough to have sex with. Okay. That's a very low bar for them guys who think she's fine. That's a low bar to clear. That's a low bar to clear. It's not like these guys discriminate for prime real estate. So no, when they say that, it's not a compliment. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying this to say, okay, enough is enough. All these fallacies and disinformation and misinformation and screwing with your own head and intellectually masturbating and then getting on the internet and then spewing it out like vomit to other people. Okay, what is a man going to do with it? Tell me, what is a man making $1 million a year going to do with a 54-year-old? Tell me the future that he plans on plotting out for a 54-year-old. Tell me what is the benefit that the 54-year-old gives him. Tell me how a 54-year-old elevates him. What is it that the 54-year-old is doing for him? Tell me who is envying him being with a 54-year-old. Broke dudes in the comment section. Let's talk about the peers out there, the fellows who have the pick of the litter. They have the pick across the board. Do they go hunting down 54-year-olds? What are you going to do with a 54-year-old? Guys who can't take care of a 30-year-old will say to the 54-year-old show is fine. Okay, but they're not going to do anything for the 54-year-old or the 24-year-old. Okay, with a man with $1 million, what the hell is he doing with what's he going to do with a 54-year-old? What does he plan to do? How is she going to elevate him? I'm just being brutally honest. Okay, if you're going to make a long-term investment, understood, perfectly fine. Can you please explain to me what the investment is? How much runway does she have? Who is she impressing? The males who are impressed by a 54-year-old, what does that tells you more about them than it does about her. I'm not being disrespectful to anybody here. I'm just saying, by the way, let's stop with the nonsense and the gaslighting. Let's just quit with that. Let's stop with it. You're messing up the damn game. And please understand something. Think about the message that this sends to females in their 20s and 30s when dudes are sitting up here and they big up in the 54-year-old. But then again, these are guys, they'll just take whatever they can get. So the sexual scavengers, as I've talked about before, the sexual scavengers, they'll be sitting there drooling over Tamron Hall. And meanwhile, take a look at the message that this sends to the 20-somethings and the 30-somethings. Of course, sexual scavengers don't think. They're in a constant dry spell, so their YouPorn accounts are on fleek, but that's about it. You see, as men, when we don't show discrimination, yes, I said it, when men are not discriminating, then that's a problem. When men are not discriminating, when we don't show that we have a high standard and that we are willing to enforce that, that doesn't help us. Please understand, the whole reason why you have a red pill movement, or at least you had one, is because women have their standards and they will be ruthless in enforcing it. They don't give a damn if you are in tears. They don't care if you feel disrespected. Men are constantly complaining about how ruthlessly women enforce their standards. If you don't meet the grade, they immediately get to clowning you. And then, but for the fellas, wide, big ass, huge, wide standards. I'll take whatever I can get. And complimenting anything that comes by. The women don't do that, fellas. When they lock in on what they want, hurting your feelings is not even a consideration. Not even a consideration. So the women have no problem discriminating for you, jacking up standards, laying down the law, leaving your ass standing there. Look, you're sitting here talking at the side of her face and she won't even look at you. These females will have you talking to the sides of their faces and they won't even turn in your direction to look at you while you're talking. Hey, baby. Hey, what's your name? Where you from? You just sitting there talking to your damn self. And with thirsty ass, desperate, dry spell behavior like this, that's the reason why. That's the reason why. And I go into this here tonight because a lot of folks here, they watch these things and they were not honest about it. So that's why I want to take you from the first couple of minutes of their little show they did and take you all the way to the end there and talk about the man of your dreams, because here's the issue here. That is the goal. That is the point. Man of your dreams. That's the goal and that's the point. If you all understand what I'm saying here tonight, give me the magic wand emoji in the chat room. And hit the likes button for me. There's over 1,700 people in here live in just the first 20 minutes. I know we're a little bit late here tonight. I'm on the road right now, getting some business done or not done. But got some updates on that too, by the way. But if you all understand and agree with what I'm saying here tonight, give me the magic wand emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. If folks don't like the program, that's okay. I'll hurt some feelings and wrap up early. But if you like the program, go ahead and hit the likes button for me. Because in order to put this in its proper context, I also have to touch on something else there. Everyone's favorite bitter, old, blonde bimbo mammy, Megyn Kelly, had something to say. And this dovetails perfectly. I guess it's all happening at the same time. For something that happened back in February, actually, but it actually dovetails off of recent events very fine here, and it helps to articulate something here that folks are not talking about and don't actually understand. But after Kendra G's appearance on Tamron Hall, let's see if we can put it in the proper context. Now, Megyn Kelly had some not so nice words about an Ashley St. Clair. Ashley St. Clair is apparently, she was or is some MAGA female, so right-wing conservative, traditional values chick. Oh yeah, Miss Traditional right-wing conservative traditional values chick is also apparently the latest baby mama. What? Of one Elon Musk. Damn! That's right, she's had a baby by one of the richest men in the world. And Megyn Kelly, of course, wanted to jump into it because the Ashley St. Clair has been complaining about Elon not really wanting to see the kid or her anymore and whatnot after she's had the baby by him. Y'all know how this goes. By the way, nobody's giving him the NFL or NBA treatment and, deadbeat dad stuff. Nobody's doing that. But I want you to hear what Megyn Kelly had to say, because there's a point in here that dovetails off of Tamron Hall and Kendra G perfectly.
This woman is accusing Elon of impregnating her and not, I guess, negotiating with her on the care of the child, or at least not to the point where she's happy with the negotiation. She's upset about the privacy, that the tabloid's coming, and the next day, after the tweet hits, she poses for a full spread in the New York Post in like her sexy wear, the pictures of her, she's wearing a corset, and this is her in this like swanky New York apartment, which is described as like lavish. Here she is with the floor to ceiling windows and the great views. And
those are not floor to ceiling windows, Megyn. Nitpicking, okay. That's not floor to ceiling. Close, but not floor to ceiling. But you ain't got a lot to kick it. Don't exaggerate.
And I all I can think as I look at this is your life is the way it is because you decided it would be. Because of your choices, madam. Like you set it up this way. I posted on Twitter. You can have a swanky New York apartment. You could earn money and actually wind up renting one yourself. You could also find a man who wants to marry you and raise children with you and who won't have other women in his life at the same time. All of this is available to you. Not just her, but any woman. You do not have to make a choice where you try to bang the billionaire to get his baby so that he'll put you up in some lavish New York City apartment and take care of you for the rest of his life and then be shocked when he doesn't actually want to have a relationship with you. And the only way you can maybe get him to respond to you is via tweet. I'm sorry, but again, you made choices. They were very bad ones.
So Megyn Karen Kelly is back again here. And here's a point here, Megyn. What you're saying is so outrageously silly. But of course it would be for you. It's silly. It's unbelievably silly. Because it's better. Let's be very, very clear. Women are not as big about having children as men are. What? So women view having children strategically, and the value of the man that they have children by is very important. Females are very competitive, and the value of the man is yet another area where they compete. Now, Megyn, because we know you listen, Megyn, let me put this in its proper context for you. Megyn, what is your husband's name? Damn! Can any of you tell us what Megyn Kelly's husband's name is off the top of your head? No, you got to go Google it. None of you know what her husband's name is off the top of your head. You don't know who he is. You don't know what he does. You don't know his name. You don't know anything about him. You don't even know if he's a real person. You know absolutely nothing about the man who, quote, loves her and had kids with her. You know nothing about him. And for a woman, that's a loser. If you have an opportunity to open your womb to somebody who is actually important, has status, and is well known, versus having a lifelong relationship with a fella that's a nobody. No one is asking you about him. Nobody's asking about his kids. Nobody's asking you nothing. How do you brag on that? Megyn Kelly can only say she's married. Okay, Megyn, you have more status than your husband does. You're more well known than your husband is. People call him Mr. Kelly. But what they're thinking about you when they say it, they're not thinking about him. And that is the way that female nature works. So when you talk about hypergamy, hypergamy is not just an income bracket. Hypergamy is a social status. If your man is important, having the baby of a man who is important and has money, what else is your womb for? What else is your capacity to pass on genes for? What else is your ability to procreate for? These other chicks have a man who's nobody knows who the hell he is. He's never done anything of any importance. If you say his name, literally no one knows who he is. They know his wife and don't know him. He's a non-factor. And you gonna sit up here and try to tell me that that's your dream man? Auntie, chill. You gonna sit up here and try to lie through your ass and tell me that's your dream man. So you've been dreaming your whole life of marrying a guy that nobody knows, no one has anything to do with, he's not of any real status or importance, no one can recognize him or identify him, no one's inspired by him. You say his name and everybody goes, who? Like Guardians from the Galaxy. That's the issue. And that matters. Folks, not liking the program here tonight, so I'm going to wrap things up here in just a little bit. Let me go ahead and cover these last couple of points here. Megyn Kelly ripped an old girl about that. She was not very happy about it. When you take a look at the comments here, she said, ladies, it's possible to make your own money. First fallacy here, Megyn. What female wants? Now, when we say make your own money, context is important because listen to what she says the standard has to be. Make your own money. You haven't said anything yet. You haven't told us how much money. Have your own career. You haven't said what caliber of career. Pay for your own swanky New York apartment. People, how much does it cost to have an apartment on Fifth Avenue? How much does it cost to be in the Piano Building? How much does it cost to be in the East Village? How much does it cost to be off of Central Park? How much does it cost to be in Hudson Yards, Billionaires Row? I mean, Hudson Yards is probably too downscale. How much does it cost? And Megyn Kelly said that you can pay for it yourself. Ho, please. A swanky New Yorker. How much Megyn Kelly, who worked at Fox News and makes millions of dollars a year. Yeah, she said it's possible. Yeah, Megyn, you also know what else is possible. It's also possible for you to throw a ball in the air and it doesn't come back down. That's possible too. In New York City, that has a city income tax, a state income tax, and a federal income tax, tolls out the damn wazoo. You got to pay for all that. We ain't talking about electricity or anything else. It's just, can you afford to even pay a swanky New York apartment? I'm talking about the one that she's in, folks. Y'all think Elon Musk is just paying for the average rent in Manhattan of $4,000 or $5,000 a month? You think that's what Elon is paying? Or do you think we talking more like $100,000 a month? Do you think that Elon Musk is paying what the most folk in New York, if you could get that close to it, you think that he's paying $4,000 or $5,000 a month? Or do you think it's closer to $50,000 or $100,000 a month? Take a look at how high up in the air she is and where she is. No, 10 G's ain't gonna get that one right there. No, we gotta do a little bit better than that. She's looking at the rooftops. She's looking down at the rooftops of other buildings in New York. Nah, you got to go a little bit better than that. Got to go a little bit better than that. And what I'm saying is, yeah, as a female, she's saying that's what my womb is supposed to be for. My womb is supposed to be for a world-conquering go-getter. My womb is supposed to be for a winner, for a titan of industry. When you say Megyn Kelly's husband's name, everybody says, who the hell is that? When you say Ashley St. Clair's baby daddy's name, everybody from the president of the United States to the president of your PTA club knows who he is. That's the difference. And that's the one truthful thing that Kendra G said. Every woman wants that guy. Every woman wants him. Ain't no female listening to me right now tonight trying to figure out, listen to me very, very carefully. Megyn Kelly, you lying ass, because you have to be, because that's what you are. You have to be a lying ass. There is no female listening to me right now who's trying to figure out how to make $10,000 a month for an apartment. There's not a single female listening to me, live or recorded, who is saying, Jason, I am formulating a plan so I can pay $25,000, $50,000 a month for a New York apartment. Okay, they are killing me over here on YouTube, by the way. They are slinging ads up in here. They didn't even give a warning for it. They just slung an ad in there. So, supposed to give you a countdown for it, and you're just saying, yeah, surprise, nigga. In any case, there is not a single female, not even one, zero, none of you females listening to me tonight, live or recorded, not a single one of you is trying to figure out how to pay $5,000 a month to live in the heart of New York, much less $50,000 a month. Not a one of you. So Megyn is lying through her jacked up orthodontic placed teeth, her orthodontic placed veneers. She knows you can't do this. That's not realistic. You're not going to do that. Elon Musk was sleeping on the floor of the Tesla plants. People have attested that he was sleeping in the office. He was sleeping on the floor of the plants because that was his everything. Everything he had in this world. He bet it all on Tesla succeeding. Ain't no woman in here going to sleep on the floor of an automotive plant.
And deal with it.
Not a one of you. There's not a single female in here who's going to spend weeks and months sleeping on the floor of an automotive assembly plant. You ain't going to do it. Even if I told you that there were millions at the end of it, you're not going to do it. A woman is not going to risk her life to become wealthy. She's going to be like, all right, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. You're not going to do that. The nicest things out there, as a woman, you ain't gonna scrap and scrape and claw for that. You're not going to do it. So Megyn Kelly is a bald-faced liar because she has to be. Because Megyn Kelly resents that the Elon Musks and the Leo DiCaprios of this world that she thought she should be with, they don't even recognize she exists. Or to them, they're like, yeah, baby, you 50-something, 60-something years old, you damn self. So yeah, we're cool on you. Megyn Kelly doesn't have the option of being the mother to the child of a winner. She doesn't have the option of doing that. That's not something that's available to her. Not at all. She doesn't have that. So she gets on the internet and lies her ass off and tries to gaslight everybody else about what they should be doing because she's not eligible for it. So she's lying to you. Kendra G told the damn truth, which is what nobody's sitting up here saying. She told the truth at the beginning that all these women want the same guy. They want a go-getter. They want a good look. They want a fellow who is more ambitious than she is because men have to do real work. They want that man. That's their dream man. Oh yeah, and one more thing. He has to be impressive to other women. Damn! Oh, hell. Why do you think Jeff Bezos found his way to the gym after 50 damn years of working? Why do you think Elon Musk went and got hair transplants? It's not enough for you to have money. Having money makes you a walking paycheck. That doesn't give you status. What you are as a man, that's what gives you status. How important you are to other people, that's what gives you status. But you also have to be somebody who impresses people. That's every woman's dream man, is a man who impresses people. That's what they want. Without that, it is absolutely irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. If you don't have the ability to do that, then that's the kind of thing that gets you in trouble right there if you don't understand it. By the way, they're going to lie to you. Here's the thing. Every female in here, every female listening, the ones who are honest, they'll admit to it, but most women are just going to sit there and lie to you. Most of them are going to sit here and lie to you because they don't want to tell the truth about it. They want you to think of them as virtuous. They want you to think of them as, oh, don't worry, I'm not like the others. The hell they are not. Every woman wants to be on Park Avenue. Every woman wants to be driving a Bentley. Every woman wants to be living a 1% lifestyle. When women tell you that they want to be princesses, this is what they mean by princess right here. She wants to live the very best life, the very best things, and she shouldn't have to lift a finger to do it. That is the princess fantasy right there. So when a female like Kendra G tells you got to have a job, what she means is you got to have a job that pays 10 times what she doing and can do 10 times what she does for herself. That's what she means. She means that. She means that. And if you can't, just understand that she may take you if what she really wants ain't there and is not available and, doesn't respond. But if she's always in the back of her mind holding out, that's the issue. Ashley St. Clair is just one of them who's honest about it. Or at least her behavior is honest. And here's the other thing right here is that like all these other chicks wouldn't have jumped at the damn opportunity if they had the chance. No woman wants to be the baby mama or the wife to a nobody. A woman who's more established than the man she's with, more successful than the man she's with, taller than the man she's with. She's more physically impressive than the man she's with. What female is sitting around talking about, you know what I need is a physically unimpressive man. That's what I need. I need that. I'm looking for a guy who's way more unimpressive than me. I want a fella that nobody looks up to, including me. I want a man that nobody admires, including me. He makes a good income and he comes home and with them buck teeth looks at me and smiles, and that's all I need. What female has been sitting around for the last 20, 30, 40 years of her damn life dreaming of that? You can sit here and try to sell that bull crap on Tamron's program if you want to. Ain't nobody buying that garbage. Females don't dream about that. Let me go ahead and take you down the rabbit hole. Whether it is Zayn. What? Oh, you didn't think I was going to go there, did you? Oh, you didn't think I was... People, romance novels the romance novels that are most popular, the story is never about some average dude with average looks, average income. That the romance novel industry was never built on that. That is what females really want. That's what they really desire. 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey is not the biggest selling female story ever. That's not the story of a nice, humble, average dude who's been sitting around just doing nothing. That's not what they're doing. That's not what they're doing. Period. Not at all. Not at all. They're not dreaming of that. They're not looking for that. They're not nothing. Nothing. When you take a look at what women actually want, for example, whether it's relationships or even when it comes to sexual access, women don't fantasize, I would like to have a guy who holds my hand and goes through the tulips. Man, you better go take a look at the fellas that females line up for. You can keep telling yourself they think about Luther Vandross if you want to. Y'all ain't gonna like this. Luther Vandross don't hold a candle to Chris Brown.
And deal with it, nigga.
It is what it is. It is what it is. He don't hold a candle to Chris Brown. Your girlfriend has never thought about paying him $1,100, $2,000. She would never follow him from city to city. Not the young gals, the Oprah Winfrey crowd, the Tom Joyner Cruise crowd. Yeah, they'll follow him around, not the rest of you. Not at all. Not at all. The fellas that females are excited about, it's like, oh, that's not Mr. Let's go on a pizza date. And then we will go home and I will softly stroke your hair as we stare into the moonlight. Okay, that's not what the women say when you ask them what they want. That's not what comes up. Take a look at what they do, not what they say. They didn't buy into Christian Grey because he was a nice aspiring youth pastor. That's not what they want. They don't want Mr. Boring. Say whatever you want to about Elon Musk. It's never a boring day. He's always going somewhere and doing something of cosmic importance. Even if you don't agree with his politics, and I don't. Even if you don't agree with him as a person, and I don't. But you can't take that away from him. It is what it is. That's self-evident. And if a woman is going to be risking her life and carrying a baby for 9 months, and she's got a choice between the youth pastor that nobody knows, and he's going to live and die like this, or this world-conquering icon from sports or entertainment or business or politics, that's an easy choice to make. If she's going to be attached for the rest of her days, if she's going to have to spend the rest of her days attached to this person, she's got a choice between a certified winner, she's carrying a winner's baby, versus a nice guy's baby. Let me explain something to you here. Nice guy is a lie that women sell to men. Women sell men on the lie of the nice guy. And nice guy simply means you're not the one I desire. But don't worry, those guys who made my toes curl and made my body buzz and made my spine tingle, you're not like them. No, you're better than them. Better than them how, Cameron? Like, you're a nice guy. They were not nice. Nigga, please. Nice is a lie that females sell to men. If a female tells you you're a nice guy, what she means is I don't really desire you. I'm not passionate about you. But I need to say that you have something that they don't. So here's your consolation prize. Why, you're a nice guy. Okay, did you ask her, by the way, so you done slept with 20 dudes. They were not nice. I'm number 21. I'm nice. Well, it seems like you really loved not nice. I mean, you don't do something for a decade or 2 decades if you don't love it. So if you were sleeping with not nice, clearly, nice ain't so good. You don't really like nice. You don't really like nice. And the truth of the matter is, no, women don't value that. That's a consolation prize for the jackass that she really doesn't want. To make you feel like you're winning. Well, I've got something he doesn't have. I'm nice. And it was only when she got with me that she realized how much she valued nice. Females know that that's a lie. Females know that that's absolutely a lie. But for the guy who doesn't really have sexual access and he's willing to wait his turn, this is what they'll sell you on. This is what they'll sell you on. So for Megyn Kelly to talk the garbage she was there, you can make your own money. No female wants to make $10,000 a month just to put a roof over her head because she knows that's just nothing but a lot of damn work. She ain't trying to do that. Have your own career. Okay, forget the family then. Pay for your own swanky New York apartment. You can get a New York apartment. You just won't be able to get the one that you're dreaming of. And find a man who loves you. Women turn down men who love them every day. Damn! Oh boy, am I hurting feelings here tonight? Let's just stop with the line and the bull crap. Women turn down men who, quote, love them every single day. Women divorce men who, quote, love them every day. Women divorce men who love them every day. They divorce them all the time. They leave them all the time. They break up the family all the time. Women leave men who love them, divorce men who love them, cheat on men who love them, have outside babies on men who love them. They do this every single day. And here's the other thing. They do it without apology and without remorse. They do it with no apologies and no remorse. When she ready to make a move, she making a move. She does not give a damn how this affects you or how this hurts you. They do that to men every day. And Megyn Kelly is sitting up here trying to sell you on find a man who loves you. Let me explain to you all what Megyn means by this. Let me explain to you what she means by this. When Megyn says find a man who loves you, what she means is find a man who is more into you than you are into him. That's what she means. She means find a man who cares about you much more than you care about him, so that he's blind to the fact that you're not really passionate about him and he's not really your preference. So find one who, quote, loves you. Notice she didn't say one that you love. She didn't say that. Did you all see that? Let me go back and show you what she said, just in case anybody thinks I'm making it up. Take a look at what she said. Everything she said on here is stuff that you're giving the female. This is what the female gets. She gets it all. I can have it all. And it costs her nothing. It's possible for you to make your own money. That's a benefit to you. Have your own career. That's a benefit to you. Pay for your own swanky apartment. That's a benefit to you. Find a man who loves you. That's a benefit to you. Wants to have and raise kids with you. That's a benefit to you. Wants to be with you and only you. That's a benefit to you. So this is about give you, gimme. Find a man who loves you. Notice she didn't say a damn word about you love him. And she means this. It doesn't matter if you don't love him. He needs to love you because, well, don't worry, he'll take care of that apartment I was referring to you before. Notice she didn't just leave it at you can make your own money and have your own career and pay for your own apartment. She didn't just leave it there. She just, and find a man who loves you and wants to have and raise kids with you. He wants to raise and have kids with you. He just doesn't want to do it from the 70th floor of the piano building. That's the difference. And every female wants that. Every female wants to be in the castle overlooking the city. Every female wants to be on the rooftop. Every female wants to be above her peers. No woman wants to be among other women. Every woman wants to be looking down on other women. She wants to be head and shoulders above them. She wants to show, hey, heifers, y'all ain't on my level. No woman wants to just be one among many. And the quality and caliber of the man you get is going to be the single biggest determining factor of that, because you are not going to do the socioeconomic status work necessary to break out from the pack. You ain't going to do it. The only reason that Megyn Kelly had it was because 20 years ago, she was the blonde chick that Roger Ailes and some of the other perverts at Fox News, and Megyn knows it's true. Roger Ailes and Rupert Murdoch and the other perverts at Fox News, yeah, being blonde and cute and young back then, you were their type of cute. That's what got you your job, Megyn. Not because you were the best and brightest. I didn't say you're dumb, but it's not because you were the best, brightest, and most qualified. It's because you were their type of blonde, blue-eyed, and apparently you kept them happy with you enough that Roger Ailes and Rupert Murdoch hired you. Had nothing to do with your knowledge or acumen or career. They were looking for a white woman to hire. DEI.
And deal with it.
So she didn't have any problems being the DEI hire when it preferred her. So yes, they were looking for a blonde, blue-eyed white chick. That's what they wanted. But that is not accessible to the overwhelming majority of the female population. You won the luck of the draw. You won the lottery. You were in the right place at the right time. And that was it. If you didn't apply for it, it would have been somebody else. Oh yeah, they've had a bunch of y'all white women through there. They've had a bunch of you through there with their leg camera. Make sure y'all have your skirts on so you can show your legs off, because that's the only way you get to keep your job at Fox. You might get your job at Fox, but you can't keep it if you ain't showing some thigh. Oh yeah, and by the way, remember Megyn Kelly in GQ, you were posing in your underwear too, Megyn. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I have to remind people? Because when she was trying to diss Leo DiCaprio, by the way, weren't you posing in your drawers too, Megyn? Weren't you posing in your undies too? By the way, GQ magazine, weren't you doing that? So now you're hating on the next chick? Really? So you're hating on her. Because you can see her wearing a corset. So she's wrong, but when you were in GQ magazine, it was legit. Wasn't no problem with it. That was fine. When it was you, it was fine. That was okay. Now they're out here lying to you about what you're going to get. And by the way, one more thing here. If you take a look on your screen here, there are some other folks in here. They left some comments. They said some things. They made some comments and said some things there. And I want to say I've seen them here also. Some folks didn't like what she said here. On this other page here, they were talking about, Megyn, love you, Megyn, but statistically it's not possible. Not every woman is a 140 IQ go-getter like yourself. Part of the problem here is that people like you have been telling girls that they are tops in the world changers, and very few women or men are. So here's Richard Cooper, by the way. He was in there. He said, you might find a man that loves you, but he won't be the man you love back. No top shelf men you women pine for want a disagreeable boss B. So I wanted to show here white percentage of total births 2023. So folks are breaking out their statistics and data sets. But the bottom line here is that everybody can see what the hell this is. And it doesn't matter what Megyn's intent is. First of all, this isn't what happened with her. But second of all, nobody is lined up to buy every chick in New York City or Los Angeles or San Francisco or Miami. Who is lined up to buy women in Miami an apartment or a condo at the Aston Martin building? Who's lined up to buy you one at World Center? Who's lined up to do that? Because that's where the women want to be. I've been there. They were all piled up, literally sitting in each other's laps on them little old benches at the Kempton Epic in Miami. That's where they want to be. And Megyn's trying to tell you that's not where they want to be. That they want less. No, they don't. No, they don't, Megyn. You were okay marrying your nondescript unknown dude there. You were okay with that. That's what you were all right with. Other women are aiming higher, and Kendra G was just letting the cat out of the bag. That right now, the women are all competing for the dream guy, and if that falls through, then they'll settle for the sad sack. But then they're going to tell him, oh, you were my dream guy all along. Fellas, you better go back and check your woman's exes. You better check her sexual history. You better check what she was doing, what she was dating. You better check where she was, because if that's where she was, that's where she wanted to be. And when you are a radical departure from where she's been, if she always had access to guys like you and bypassed you, and then she gets in her late 30s or 40s or older, and all of a sudden you become her prime choice, it's like, wait a damn minute. Them dudes you were with before me for the last 2-3 decades, they were nothing like me. So how did you suddenly gain an affinity for somebody like me? Fellas, recognize that. You can lie to yourself if you want to, but I recommend you recognize that, because that's a serious ass thing, especially if you marry him. You marry him, you have children with him, and she's like, hey, this is a business arrangement. Here is the problem with dealing with a female who identifies your relationship as a business arrangement. Write this down, stamp it on your forehead, tattoo it on your arm. Keep this with you for the rest of your lives, fella, because this is law. You cannot enter into a relationship with a female who identifies personal romantic relationships as a business arrangement, because the difference between men and women is that men are willing to die for our business arrangements and women are not.
And deal with it, nigga.
That's the difference. Women know that men are willing to die for our business arrangements. So if a man makes a business agreement with a woman, he's willing to see that through, even if it kills him. Okay, but the women are not thinking the same thing. Women are not sitting around saying, I'm going to stand by this business arrangement even if I die. She knows that you feel that way. She knows that's the way that men operate. Women, she ain't trying to, she's like, yeah, I play by different rules. I want a man who plays by them rules. I don't want to have to play by them myself. I don't want to have to do that. And so now, right now, the world is calibrated towards trying to trick, deceive, gaslight, fool, con artistry, bamboozle men into becoming highly competent and highly capable and dragging the dead weight. And the truth of the matter is, they said the quiet part out loud. She said what the hell she meant. She said what the hell she meant. She said it when she meant that. She said, hey, I'm looking for a dude here. When they're looking for a guy who's a winner, and when you let them start fleshing their list out, first they come out with modest demands. But then when they start fleshing the list out, then it's like, oh, hell, that list got damn expensive damn quick. It got damned expensive damn quick. Now you understand why those things won't work. Now you understand why they can't work. Here's the other killing part about it here. Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and get my Zoom up and going here. Let me go ahead and get the Zoom up and going. So you all can go ahead and give me a holler here on Zoom. It's a Friday night. We're up a little late, but this is what we do here. All my long haul truckers, my night shift nurses, my warehouse workers, my stay-at-home parents, my self-employed people here. We doing the damn thing for you. Tonight's program is called Old and Costly, because that's also another component of it here as well. Did you notice something here? Did y'all notice something? Kendra G in her mid-40s, Tamron Hall in her mid-50s. Damn! And the older they've gotten, the more expensive they've gotten. Did you all notice that? This is the grand irony of it. The older that these women have gotten, the more expensive they try to be. Like, so when she was young, she was modest. But they're in their 40s and their 50s, and they're talking about damn me penthouse apartments? They talking about penthouse apartments. They talking about you got to have a job and W-2s, and she got to be able to check your paperwork and your documentations. And they old as hell. and telling you what you got to do. That now that she's older than she's ever been, she's more run through and ragged out than she's ever been, all the prime real estate that made her a hot item, all that's gone. And she's telling you that you have to pay more than you've ever paid. And by the way, you don't even get natural hair. You don't get natural smooth skin. You get wig. In Kendra G's case, talking about wigs? She's talking about she needs you to pay top dollar so that she can wear a wig, people. Do you hear how insane the world is right now? She said, I need you to be the best man you can be. I need you to be a go-getter. I need you to be exceptional so you can run your fingers through my wig.
Auntie, chill.
That's literally what she told Tamron Hall. Let's talk about my wig. I need a man who can budget for my wig. Not my hair, my wig. I need a man who can budget for that. This is where we at today. Okay, we got Morpheus here on Zoom. Morpheus, your screen is really blurry, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So if we're trying to troll, we're going to have to let you go. So we need to fix that up here or whatever. I'm not sure why you're all blurred out or whatever, but I'll give you 5 seconds to get that straightened out for us. We'll see if that helps you some. You got a light on, but your focus ain't great. Okay, yeah. Morpheus, what's on your mind?
My bad. No, I'm just saying I agree with everything you're saying. You just said something that I've been saying to my friends a while. Like, if you notice, all her friends, knows all her exes are completely different than you. Like, basically, she's settling for you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you said that, I had to call in because I was like, I've been saying that to some of my friends for a long, long time. And I mean, you're absolutely correct.
Well, most guys today are waiting their turn. Most fellas today, they're in a sexual drought, for a number of different reasons, and they're just waiting their turn. And it doesn't matter how degrading it is. It doesn't even matter how obvious it is. Now, this is the part that's really scary. It's not like I'm breaking news. These guys know this. It's glaringly obvious, but they've got literally no choices. So when one of these chicks does open up a lane for him, he got to go.
And, I would say it even for guys that are quote unquote handsome, because they may be handsome, but they lack ambition and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So even they're trapped because some of these dudes, they think, oh, I got the best, you know what? And they may be tall or, genetically gifted, but they not ambition, not none of those stuff. And then some women, they'll try to get those dudes and then try to berate them, hoping they'll become a winner somehow.
Well, remember, women are they are informed by their emotions. So as far as she's concerned, if you've got the physical capability, then as far as she's concerned, you should also have the mental and emotional and social capability. And that all she has to do is just wait for that to do, even if you ain't got it, well, just wait for that to develop. Just like a lot of men figure if a woman is pretty, then she should have soft feminine skills.
Right.
Just because she's pretty does not mean there's anything soft and feminine about her. And if, as a man, now the difference between us as men is she may be pretty, but if she doesn't have those soft feminine skills, we're not waiting around for her to develop them. We either just accept her the way she is or we leave. But we don't think, well, if I sit here and love on her long enough, she's going to get soft and feminine. We don't think that. Women, however, cannot tell you how to be a man. But so she does figure, well, if I just sit here on you long enough, he's cute enough, and it's hard to find guys who are my type of cute that makes me feel passionate and emotionally engaged and desirous. So I don't want to give that up. So if I can just get this good-looking guy to have a good-looking finance and a good-looking social status too, now I can have it all.
Yeah, and also like going back to Megyn Kelly. Because, she has that white girl look that most white dudes like. So, even for her, you're like, okay, like you said, she was on a GQ magazine. She was around wealthy white dudes. You weren't able to pull one of those dudes. Like, that already tells you she was a disciplinary problem. Because she has the looks to pull them. She's in the right areas. Why wasn't she able to do it? Am I wrong?
I mean, look, she had her chance back in the day and whatnot, and she got what she got, and she's doing what most females do. I mean, just ladies, I gotta read the mail tonight. She's doing what most females do, though. That was the guy who was available. That was the one who would take her. If a Hollywood star would have had her, she'd have been there. Oh. If somebody who was on her status level, above her status level, would have been looking for her, she would have gone with him. They weren't there. They weren't looking. She wasn't their type of hype. She's a Fox News babe, but she wasn't the kind of chick that Matthew McConaughey. Take a look at the chicks that Matt McConaughey and Leo DiCaprio and go down your list of white Hollywood stars. She's not the kind of chick they go for. She wasn't the kind of chick they went for back then.
Yeah. Can I ask you one last thing?
One more. Hold your question for just a moment, because the reason why is take a look at the way she acts.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine going through a divorce with Megyn Kelly?
Oh, you're right.
Dude, can you, first of all, she's a lawyer. But take a look at her attitude. Take a look at how aggressive she is. Take a look at how assertive she is. Take a look at how hostile she is. Could you imagine her filing divorce against you? Can you imagine how this is going to be? How this is going to go? Remember, when she left NBC, she sued them.
Oh, yeah.
She sued them and she won. She sued them and she won. So can you imagine what a divorce with that woman would be like? She will be calling you, leaving the most evil, profane voicemails. I mean, just, you can see it all happening. You know it's going to occur. So what I'm saying is that if I can see this, hell yeah, Matthew McConaughey can see it, Leo DiCaprio can see it, Matt Damon can see it. You go down the list. It's like, yeah, we'll pass.
And I think a lot of women don't realize that, like the guys that they're talking about, like what you consider top tier, because even if you're not top tier, if you're good with women, over time, you know, like, okay, yeah, she's a red flag. You can just look at it. You can just hear it in her voice of a certain girl's a red flag. So why would they not think the dudes at the top level wouldn't know that?
Well, I mean, it's one thing for a female to be intelligent. It is another thing to have a female who is intelligent and aggressive, intelligent and domineering, intelligent and thinks she's the smartest thing in the room, intelligent and vindictive. All that mixed together, she might be dynamite in bed, but she's going to be explosive when she eventually goes off on you.
Yeah. I don't think I want one question I had to ask you. What about Tamara Hall? I think she married some white dude. I don't know if he's famous or not. It seemed like he was just regular.
No, I mean, like I said, I think he was in the record business or something like that. But the bottom line is he's nobody you know. He's nobody that if he walked in the room, you wouldn't say, hey, that's, whatever his name is. I don't even know the guy's name. He's not that. So what I'm saying is that, I'm not saying that to beat up on anybody, because I'm not going to do that for the way somebody was born or anything like that. That's not my point. My point is that take a look at where she's been and the men she's been with. Take a look at what lights these women's candles. Take a look at where she thinks she's supposed to belong. And that's why I said, do you think for a moment that Tamara Hall of 20 years ago would have been caught dead with this guy? Would this have been her preferred mode of travel? You can take a look at it. It's just like, no, this is a marriage of convenience or whatever, but this is so outside of your damn wheelhouse. So this was the last train leaving, and away you go. And I'm like, you know what? Hey, if that's the best you can do, let's just leave that. And I can respect that. Don't tell me that this was the plan all along. Don't tell me that this is what you desired all along. Because if it were, the last 25 years of your life would have shown that. And that's not what it did.
Yeah. Just to back you up, which we was talking about books, most of the female books is about them cheating on their husband for a top tier guy, like their boss or something like that. Like
or some stranger.
Yeah, or a stranger. Those are the top selling female books. Is a woman that's married and she's bored and she cheats with a guy that's really handsome, bad boy, or it's always like them cheating on their husband, and the husband is actually a decent dude.
Well, you use the word decent. Well, no, you use the word decent, and you're not wrong. Your word usage is not wrong. What I'm telling you all is understand what comes along with that. When a female tells you that you're, quote, nice, do you understand what comes along with that label of nice, what she means when she says that? Because she wants you to think that it means whatever is most pleasing to you. But she also understands that she's using trick bag language to deceive you. She knows that you're making assumptions that say that me and the guys you were with, we're peers and we're equivalent. And that is not what she means.
Yep.
So when you say he's decent, brother, decent means boring.
What? No, you're right.
Decent means boring. That's what decent means. You cannot be passionate about something that's boring. You cannot be.
You're right about that. I learned that the hard way. Like when I was younger, I'm in my late 30s now, but when I was younger in the 20s, I'm thinking I'm doing something. And I would mess with girls that have boyfriends. And some weird thing they would do, like they would always try to make you meet their boyfriend in a weird way. And I would see that most of the time they were decent. But I don't understand why they like to make you meet them. It's a weird thing. I just noticed that. Like I said, this was me when I was younger. And
that's weird. I never had a chick want me to meet her boyfriend. That would be strange, bro. So it's...
Yeah.
Y'all can't go to all them swinging sites. You can't do that. It's just...
No, not like that. Like, it's like, it'd be like, let's say you go to a club or like just a general get together. You don't know that's the boyfriend until later on. You're like,
no, that's a dangerous situation. She's trying to make somebody jealous. So you have to be careful when chicks are trying to show some dude, see somebody else will take me. She's using you to make him jealous, because females, unfortunately, there's a lot of females who think they don't like males to begin with. Everything about them is manipulative. And so she would love to see you two fight and kill each other over her, literally, because she's looking to validate herself. And you all are just pawns in this game of self-validation.
Oh, you're definitely right. Like I said, this was when I was younger and stupid and didn't know no better. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. But most of the dudes, like I said, they were decent guys. So I was just like, I felt kind of bad. Like I said, I got out of that stuff because I was just like, that was kind of weird. Like, what?
Well, I need males to understand early that the things that your mama told you, those are not compliments that translate to the real world. Your mama saying that you're nice and decent and law-abiding, that doesn't translate to the rest of the world the way it does from her. When the rest of the world says it to you, they don't mean the same thing. They don't. When they say you're decent, you're nice, you're humble, they mean you're weak, you're boring, you're docile. That's what they mean. They mean that. They mean that you are not a threat.
Right.
Okay, and that sounds like a no-brainer. Well, of course, I don't want to be a threat. Problem, females are not sexually attracted to harmless men. And the reason that they're not sexually attracted to harmless men is because we live in a world full of sharks. We live in a world full of lions. We live in a world full of predators. If she's going to commit herself to you, you better have some predator in you.
That's a fact.
Because it's guaranteed you're going to come face to face with one at some point. And she does not want to have you already outgunned, outmanned, and out every damn thing else. We live in an aggressive world. You better have a man who is capable of it. You better. Otherwise, you're helpless. So being a harmless man and not a threat, that's not a compliment either. Do you see how quickly the world can tell you all these things, and you're poking your chest out talking about how great you are, and then somebody like me has to tell you later, by the way, none of those things they just said about compliments. Yeah, they're not bad things, but they're not compliments either. They're actually derogatory in practice.
No.
In rhetoric, as a piece of rhetoric, they're fine. As a rhetorical device, they're fine. In practice, these are terrible things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When I was like being I'm trying not to cuss in your program. When I was being an a-hole and not caring, that's when I get the most, even by accident. Even if I was just joking around, I would get more play than when I was like trying to be, quote unquote nice. But what I realized is what you just said is it's because it's protection. Because a guy that can be vicious, women perceive that as, oh, he's a protector. Where if you're a nice guy, you don't seem like you can protect anybody.
Well, yes, but please understand what the reason for that is, because a woman doesn't know how to teach you how to do that. Mm-hmm. Women will criticize you and leave you if you don't have those attributes, but they don't know how to tell you how to become that. So if you a fella who don't know how to throw no hands, you're not aggressive, a woman doesn't know how to teach you to do that. All she knows is, I'll be damned, you ain't got it, you're a threat to me. Because if I need you to protect me, you can't do it. And she's like, I can't teach you how to become that kind of man. It's either in you or it isn't. You either got it or you don't. And it doesn't matter what all your other attributes are, unless she just needs the money more than anything else. If you are physically going to leave her abandoned, she's going to take that into account. Women are very, very sensitive to the threats in this world. I remind you all that as men, we walk across a dark, if you have to leave the mall at night or something, you're walking across a dark parking lot, you think a lot of things could happen to you. You even think maybe somebody could shoot you and kill you. Well, that's a possibility too. There's one thing that you've never thought could happen. You have never thought walking across the dark parking lot at night that you were going to be kidnapped and raped and then killed. Now that you didn't think. Women think about that all the time. As men, we don't really consider it that way. We think we could be assaulted, but we don't think we could be bound, gagged, and raped. That the rape part is obligatory. That's going to happen. We think they might rob us and shoot us. Not, oh, no. I might not rob you, but I'm definitely going to rape you.
And you're right about that. I had a homegirl, like, she basically broke that down to me because, like, she's one of these, she's black, but she's, like, has a very strong personality. And at the time, she didn't have a car. You know, I would help out every once in a while. And she would walk home. And she just told me, like, she'd be so afraid. And, like, the way her personality is, I was shocked that she even said that. And then I really thought about it. And what you said really came to truth. Because I really didn't realize at the time before she said it that how much women are afraid of random attacks. Because the way she came across, like, you just would never think of attacking. Like, she had that Medea energy. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad you brought that up because it goes a little bit beyond that. Once again, if another male wanted to assault you, he's probably going to have to use a weapon.
Right.
However, with a female, she knows that if she gets assaulted, you brought your weapon with your hands. You don't have to bring anything else. Hand to hand, if you want to, you can do anything with her you want to.
Right.
But for you as a guy, another fellow want to try that, he's probably going to have to bring a weapon. So a female is like, okay, even if the both of us were out here completely naked, you're still going to be able to do whatever you want to do with me. That's the level of caution and awareness that they have. So she's thinking, okay, we live in a world where they turn on the news, they see this happen every night. I better have somebody on my squad who's capable of dealing with that. He might not be the best or the baddest ass ever, but he better have some ability to deal with that. And when you show her you have zero ability to deal with that, please understand, she might marry you for the money, but she is longing for a more competent replacement.
Yeah. That's one reason why women love tall dudes, because they feel like they're protected. I suggest every dude that's under 6 foot, you better have a good gym. Like, I'm under 6 foot. I'm 5'7", but I always worked out since I was in high school. So I never got those, oh, you're short, because I always had like a build on me. But later on, I realized that inadvertently helped me a lot.
No, if you can't be taller, at least be wider.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm wider. I'm not taller, but I'm wider. So, like, the funny thing is, the only reason I know I'm short is when I stop working out and I get out of shape. Then I get those, oh, you're short. But when I'm in peak position, women never say I'm short.
Well, mentality matters a lot. And like I say, if she knows you have that deficiency about you, she's not going to be able to get that out of her mind. She's going to try to placate you. She's going to try to make you stop thinking about it. She never stopped thinking about it. Women spend a lot of their time pulling the wool over men's eyes. I mean, that's female culture. Women don't want to talk about it because if we talk about it, then they got to give all the details. And women are they don't want to talk about that publicly because they would see that is taking the veil off of things, and that would make them all more vulnerable if they just came out and said that. But that is what really is happening. That's the way they really think. That's the way they really feel. It's a survival mechanism, but that also bleeds over into other areas. Because like you're talking about a man being tall, they start making other assumptions based on that. Whether those assumptions are real or not is immaterial. There's now making other assumptions and making leaps of logic that go into that, and you will be judged against it. So when she tells you she's all right with certain things, you'd be well advised to question it.
Oh yeah, they never all right with it. They want you to go to the mountaintop. Trust me, I was married at one point when I was younger, so I know you got to go to the mountaintop. If they look like you're not going to the mountaintop, that's when those divorce papers going to come. You got to go to the mountaintop.
When she becomes certain. If she becomes certain that this is the best you're going to do, yeah. She's going to be looking for the exits. That's when you're going to find out what she really thinks. If she thinks this is the best you can do, now she's going to show you what she really thinks. And there's a lot of fellas out there who are pit stops and don't understand it or don't know it. Well, more importantly, don't want to believe it. They really do want to believe. Here's the real truth about it. A lot of fellas out here really want to believe that they finally worn them down. Remember, Steve Urkel said that to Laura once. I'm wearing you down, baby. But there's a lot of fellas out here, and that's where they're at. They're just like, hey, look, when the bad dudes are finished with her and she's ragged out, hopefully they done beat all the fight out of her. And then when she gets with me, she'll just go ahead and give in. And just finally go ahead and settle. And it'll be unspoken. We ain't got to talk about it, but it'll be understood that, okay, then them niggas you really want don't really want you. So when you come over here, you're just going to finally settle. And yeah, I got to take you with all the road miles and all the baggage and the damage and the dents and the dings and the cracked windshield. Okay, but, you know, at least you will not be fighting to get back over there anymore. You've had enough of that. It don't work. So you're going to just go ahead and give on up and surrender and stay over here. That is a incredibly seductive lie that men want to believe. And it's not true.
You know what? I just got to push back a little bit. Not saying that you're wrong, but I think it's changed a little bit. And just let me explain what I mean by that. For the guys that can pull chicks, maybe they're not at the mountaintop, but they, you know, they got a mouthpiece, they look good, whatever the case. It looks like they're not trying to get in a relationship. You know, they just trying to enjoy the chick as much as they can. If it works out, it works out. Like, they don't care. And then the dudes that are at the mountaintop, they're trying to collect as many women like Pokemon cards. That's what it seems like. And it seems like that's what the women are complaining about. Or am I wrong in that?
Well, no, look, when men finally get a grip on things and a handle on things, it's like flying an airplane or riding a bicycle. When you finally get the hang of it, you start realizing, okay, well, I can start pulling off things I wasn't pulling off before because I understand how it works. So that's what happens. And when men get more skilled and adept at something, then they start realizing how to stack the advantages on their side of the table if that is what they desire to do. If you're a guy who mentally and emotionally cannot stand rejection and you'll take what takes you and you want things to be easy and handed to you, because the guys you're talking about, they're competitive. I don't care how good looking a guy is, he still has to be competitive. It's not going to be just given to him. Why do you figure fellas got to work out? That's the most competitive thing you can do. So you realize, hey, I got to be competitive. So it's not just hopping in your lap. It's a result of things. Okay, well, he's tall. Okay, well, if he's tall and he's Charles Barkley. Well, if he's tall and he's Shaquille O'Neal. Now what? So I'm just saying, it's just, you know, he ain't Idris Elba or Denzel. No, he's Shaquille. What if he's tall and he's Manute Bol? You know, so I'm just saying there's levels to it. He's tall and David Robinson. It's just, okay, no dissing to David, Scottie Pippen. I ain't dissing none of them. I'm just saying,
nah, you're right.
Being tall in and of itself or physical in and of itself, there's nuances to that. So you can be that way and it's not really helping you, not the way you might think it does. So it just makes it one-dimensional. She's checking to see what else you got. Case in point, Scottie Pippen without paper is who?
Now you're right.
Think about that for a few moments. Okay, he tall, he's athletic, got it. But he ain't got no money. Okay, all of a sudden he's invisible to the women. Except that chick who works down there at McDonald's and she's just determined to have a guy taller than her. Okay, fine. But other than that, bro, you got to earn it. So I would say that, no, you're going to be competitive even if you got looks. You're going to have to be competitive even if you got size, because what can she do with your size? Okay, if there is no threat, okay, what do you do? You're going to eventually have to do that. At some point, you're going to have to do that. I'm talking about before the sun sets. You're going to have to do it. And there's when you get into a bad situation where you're trying to skate by on looks. And that doesn't work for men the way it does for women.
I agree.
It doesn't work because there's a real thing is that when women get tired of the fact that all you are is good looking, then they turn evil. Men will keep a good looking woman around who's useless for the rest of his damn life. That's the way we do. If she's good looking and she stay good looking, she can be utterly useless. We'll find a place for her to hang around for the rest of our days. Women will not do that. You're dead weight.
I call the good looking thing the baby boy effect. Like, if you look at that movie, all the stuff he had to deal with, like, I mean, I personally wouldn't want to deal with that, but like, you know, that's all he was doing. That's all he was skating on. And look how all the women treated him. They despise him. But that's the best they can do.
And most males don't realize that as long as they have sexual access. So the fellas who are really competitive, women come along with that. If you're good looking and tall and stuff, it certainly helps. But those guys, since there's no pressure on them and they have options, the real thing is, brother, when you've got options, I'm talking about the options you actually want, not just this is what I can get. But if you actually have access to the options you actually want, you're not thinking about getting married. You're not thinking about commitment. You don't have to. There's no pressure on you to do that. You got your cake and eating it up like a son of a gun. So that pressure is not on you. It really isn't. You can make that decision whenever you want to, but what there isn't is a pressure on you that you got to make that decision now. I ain't got to do a damn thing. I can roll this however I want to. So those guys, when they have that choice and have that leverage, that's what happens is there's no urgency to make a long-term decision because he's got long-term options.
Hey, Jace, could I ask you this real quick about those dudes that have the long-term options, like the George Clooney's and all that stuff? Like, if you notice, like I just noticed that some of them, they usually get married around their 50s or late 50s. What's up with that? What's going on there? Like a George Clooney, for example.
I mean, they have reasons for doing that. I think a lot of that is they want to have kids or something like that. So they start thinking about legacy. He's in a position where that matters. A lot of these fellas here, like I say with George Clooney, I think he's not even really in Hollywood anymore like that. So if they're getting their pensions from Screen Actors Guild or whatever, they're in a slightly better financial position for that. The other thing is if they're not working for their money anymore, that helps as well. Because if you're making your money off of income, you have to split that with her if she gets divorced. But if it's like in a trust or you're getting it from something like that, then you likely will not have to give up anything. So they're waiting later to make sure the financial situation is solidified. So just in case he needs to just stop making income altogether and just live off a pension or whatever they've got going from that, that's all he has to do. So it gives him more perspective in that regard. I also think that because they wait later, they're better at evaluating females. So they're better at seeing, okay, what you about, what you looking for. This is a gold digger. She's going to have to jump through a lot more hoops. And I think that's another part of it there. They have to do that for a long period of time. So I think they come with a plan and they got people around them. So they get themselves together in that regard. But I think that's pretty much what I see them doing. If they usually they have kids later, like Sylvester Stallone or something, or they're in a better position where they've got all the chips on their side of the table. So he's mitigated the risks to the extent that he can. So if she does flip bad, he's in the best position he can be in to deal with that, and she can't really pull no cards. Like I pointed out with Tiger Woods, he got married that one time, and now he's just running through them, and here, you got to sign this agreement over here, and that's the end of it. So some of them, and then there's the last part of it. There are a few of them, they're just lonely. I think a lot of them, they're, just because you see them in Hollywood, that doesn't mean that they're good, they have good people skills. I know a number of Hollywood folk, and I mean they are complete duds in real life. They're not. They don't have the gift of gab. They can act. They can do a script. They can do commercials. But as far as interacting one-on-one with people, they're really awkward.
Wow.
So I mean that's the norm. That's not the. I mean, go take a look at any celebrity interviews, but that's the norm. That's not the exception. That's the norm. So when you consider that, at a certain point, a lot of these guys here, they grab something that they think is going to stay put, and they cash out and leave the casino.
What do you think, Kendra G? You think she learned her lesson? You think she's level setting herself, or you think she still thinks she can get top tier dude?
Absolutely. As long as Kendra G has a DM, please understand, social media has deluded females into thinking that as long as there's something in their DMs, they tell themselves all the same thing. Got to be a doctor, a high-powered doctor in here, a high-powered lawyer, and there isn't. If there is a doctor in there, it'll be an average doctor. He's not driving an Aston Martin. He's not living in Beverly Hills. He can't get through the front door of the piano building. He's just doing average things like average dudes, but he's not a millionaire. He's not. And the problem with your question was that Kendra G considers herself to be a woman who has, I would probably estimate for her, she probably thinks she has $10 million of femininity.
Yeah.
So what type of man do you think she assumes she should get? Well, I should get a man with $10 million of value because I bring $10 million of femininity. I bring $10 million of sex appeal.
From watching her, it's not just the money. You're right. The money has to be there, but they're going to have celebrity, because I only noticed that she's only excited when a celebrity man roams around her. If I've seen her interact with a doctor, and she'd treat him like a regular, and then be like handsome, for most women would consider handsome. But if it's a celebrity, she starts bashing her hair around. She just get like it. You watch her interact with celebrity men, it's totally different. Totally different.
Yeah, I mean, look, women want a man who's important. Kendra G is quote unquote important in social media. How is she going to be satisfied being with a guy who is not important to anyone? That she says her name and people say he says her name to other people and they know who he is. She says his name to other people and nobody knows who the hell it is. She can't brag on them. She can't introduce him. That's the dirty little secret. It's like, hey, dude, I only got with you because The ones I really wanted wasn't checking for me, so let me gas your dumbass head up. But in reality, yeah, if I'm giving you shine by being next to you, you need to be able to shine me up. And if you can't do it, then this becomes the dirty little secret of the relationship, that I'm worth more than you and I settled for you. I don't give a damn what you do for a living. You're a nobody. I settled for you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't you ever forget that I did you a favor by marrying your little square ass, because you're a nobody.
I tell my friends, if your girl's not pressuring you to be in a relationship or showing you off to all her friends, she don't really like you like that. Because when they think you the shiznick, you know all their friends. They're trying to invite you everywhere. They'll even post you. Because, like you said, they want to show you off. If you are somebody, there's no girl that with a somebody guy that doesn't want to show it off.
If your female is in the top 1%, you got to be in the top 1/10 of 1% for her to actually be okay with you. To really be okay with you. Otherwise, she's just faking. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, another great podcast. I'm just going to go back and listen, and hope you have a good night. Thank you once again, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Look, people don't know what's going to happen with Kendra G. Kendra G is eventually going to go the Tamron Hall route. She's going to look here at some point. She's going to try to find some sad sack. She's going to try to find some dude who'll take her. I have some specific thoughts on this, but I'm probably going to save it till next week so I can flesh it out completely. But before it's over, she's going to have to say, like, she's in her mid-40s now. She's going to have to find some dude who's 60. What? I mean, what's going to happen is Kendra's going to have to find some dude who's 60, divorced. He's old. He's not impressive. He's not going to put up a fight. He's just looking for the chick who love him because he's really been run through the ringer, and he's more desperate for companionship than she is to get that winner. And that's what she's going to end up with. Just like Tamron, just like Dawn from In Vogue, we can go down the list. He'll be her little pet. She's going to attempt to show him off, and when people finish laughing, then she's not going to want to show him off anymore. Now, there's the succession of that, by the way. That's the progression of that. They want to show him off right up until people start laughing at him, then they don't want to show him off anymore. And that's going to be the way it's going to be. And in her case, I don't see it lasting, because if she is not thoroughly satisfied with you and she's got this laundry list of requirements, but if you cannot fulfill them all, if she stays with you, it'll only be to punish you. Because she sees herself as so fly, and why can't you just get it together? And you notice that she's setting herself up for failure when she says you have to have some ambition. Fellas, please understand. That's why I played that for you at the beginning there when she said, okay, you have to have a job and you have to have some ambition. What she means is that, by the way, if you're making $500,000 a year, you need to have ambition to make $5 or $6 million a year. If Kendra G is making a couple of million a year, and I don't know what she makes, probably not that much, but let's just say she's making $1 million a year. You got to be making 5 to 10. If you're making the same amount of money that Kendra makes, far as she's concerned, you make less than her. Fellas, please understand, if you quote only make as much money as your woman does, as far as she's concerned, you make less than she does. I didn't say you make the same. Far as your woman is concerned, you make less than her. If she makes $80,000 and you make $80,000, far as she's concerned, you make $50,000, maybe $40,000, as far as she is concerned. So if Kendra makes $1 million a year, she's going to want a guy who makes 5 to 10. Otherwise, you're not ambitious enough. You only make as much as me. You're not ambitious enough. And if she does take him, she's going to be riding him to become more ambitious. Remember what Tina Knowles did to Richard Lawson. Okay, if you ain't going to become the next Beyonce, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. Let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. I've got J1 here on Zoom. Okay, J1 is waiting to hook up his Zimbabwe broadband here. J1, just make sure we don't have any trolling issues. I just need you to make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. Nobody else is going to see you except for me, but just make sure we don't have any trolling issues. I just need to make sure we have our camera and our microphone turned on just to make sure we don't have any trolling issues. All right, J1, what's on your mind?
What's going on, man? My name is J1 from Boston. Just wanted to say thank you. Now, I'm new to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to reach out to you for a minute. I'm not part of your Patreon just yet. I have a crazy story and a lot of questions I want to ask you. Not a lot of questions, but really 3 questions.
Okay, I'm not sure if you have a speakerphone on there or something, or using headphones or something. Can you take it off of that, because it's your audio's real hollow?
Hear me now?
Okay, try again.
Hey, man, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions one day.
Okay.
Like, something when be able to talk to you personally.
Okay, well, that's no problem at all. Did you want to ask me something tonight?
Not tonight.
Okay.
Not on this.
Well, certainly, like I say, if you join our Patreon or whatever, you can talk to me there if you want to. I'm definitely available.
All right. Cool. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Not hard to find. Let me go ahead here and get Banter up here. On Zoom. All right, Banter, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. Nobody else will see you, but just make sure we don't have any trolling issues. All right, Banter, what's on your mind?
All right, Jason, great program. I have a question, and I hope you can give me a good answer. I've been trying to figure this out. So, I had a lady. We have a child together. We're not together anymore. But here's the thing, right? In the beginning, I met her. I had no options, and that's why I called in. I wanted to have a legacy, and I figured I'd go with her. She's a single mother. I didn't know this stuff before all this.
She was a single mother at the time when you met her?
Yeah.
Okay. Where in New York are you from?
I'm not from New York. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Close enough. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So I used to say never go to a single mother, but my father, who is a stepfather, I figure, okay, I have no other options. I don't see anything happening. So why ignore single mothers? Because there are so many of them. So I went after this one, and I liked her. Cape Verdean, beautiful. And we were great in the beginning.
There you go. All right.
So
and
I had
he's
no money
answering his own question. He said, well, I don't see really, why can't you go after him? Then now he's about to answer his own question, but go ahead.
So I had no money at the time, obviously, not obviously, but I had just left another job because they weren't trying to give me a raise. So I said, let me go back and do what I'm good at, which is software testing. So I got a job in software testing, $95K a year. And then I paid for everything while she was pregnant. And the agreement was while she was pregnant, I pay for everything. Oh. And then when she's back, she can, obviously make arrangements to go to work. So long story short.
And that ain't going to happen, but go right ahead.
Well, so here's what happened. So during the pregnancy, she got really upset. She told me to paint the house. She started getting crazy. Yeah, I started getting crazy and everything. I couldn't understand what was going on. But then long story short, we're broken up. She's with our child in another house with the government. And I'm homeless in a car, trying to start up again. And I guess
did she ever stop talking to her baby daddy?
No, she was always talking to her baby dad, and I knew about it too. But he wasn't in this country; he's in Cape Verde. But still, she was doing that. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so now I'm in a situation where I'm like, man, I think some people got into her head because at first we would always argue. Well, not always, but when we argued, we would come to an agreement. We'd sit down, we'd talk about stuff. But then I think people got into her head. Because when we used to argue, we figured things out together. But then later on, she started saying weird things like, why can't you be rich? Or when she got her own job, she would hold it more and get mad that she's paying 50-50. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why is she talking like this? And then...
Boy, what in the hell's the matter with you?
I mean, now all this stuff makes sense because I've been binge watching.
Okay. In the interest of time and efficiency here, he said, I think folk got in her ear later. What he's trying to say is, well, when we first got together, it was easy to work things out. What he really means is that when he talked to her, she came around with seeing things his way, so he was okay with it. And what you don't understand is if you actually walk this through logically, that's not what you're describing. What you are describing is when we first met each other, she needed to reel me in. So she was all the bad things that she knows she is. She said, I got to keep that under wraps because that's what they do. That's what hoes do. That's what single moms do. That's what gold diggers do. They know that this is the bad part of their psyche. I got to keep it under wraps because I got to reel them in because I can't let them see that. So yeah, they bury it. They become everything you want. You're always going to win every fight. You're going to win every argument until she gets what she wants. What she wants is to obligate you. Couldn't get the last guy to do that. So I need you to make some paper and whatnot so I can obligate you. So yeah, at the beginning, she's going to do everything you want and be everything you want so she can get some leverage. And as soon as she got that leverage, well, I'll be damned. When did you start complaining? Well, after she got pregnant, nigga, bag secured, bag achieved. It's not going to get no better, especially now. Did you marry her?
No.
Okay, well, you didn't marry her, but the bottom line is, okay, now she got the baby. That's it. She got the state with her. So she's like, okay, bag is secured. He ain't going to marry me. Bag achieved. And now I'm going to run them pockets. Now the real thing is going to come out now. Now that I've got you over a barrel and I got the state behind me, I don't have to pretend anymore. Now let me show you the real damn thing. Now all of a sudden you can't win no fights no more. It used to be y'all only fought for 20 or 30 minutes. Now y'all fighting for 3 and 4 days and she ain't backing off of nothing. Now she's talking crazy, Jason. She's talking unreasonable now. She's talking crazy stuff to me. She wants me to do all kinds of weird, crazy things, that all this emasculating stuff. She's like, yeah, nigga, I don't have to play nice anymore. Now I can do you how I want to do you. And that's it. That's exactly what it is. So fellas, you find out what a woman really thinks of you when you screw around and put a ring on her finger or a baby in her belly. Now you're going to find out what she really thinks. Now that she feels, even if it's not real, she feels she got you over a barrel and she's got leverage. Now you're going to find out what she thinks because now she thinks she has power.
Yeah.
And if a woman thinks she got power, just like anybody else, people show you what they really are when they think they got power over you. She thinks with that baby, I got power over him. Well, now I don't have to play nice anymore. Now, if she really is nice, she'll keep doing that. But if she been faking it, now she's got power. I ain't gotta do that no more. Let me go ahead and put these hands on you.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and just to end it, not too long after we fought, and it ended, she found another man, but I think she was talking to that man
There
before.
you go. I'm about to say that naivete is shaking off of him. No, bro. Women always secure a soft place to land. That's what I tell you. Women are never single. I mean, if fellas don't want to believe this, they hated it. I was the first guy who came out and had to beat the drum about it to break that down after Tommy Lauren because nobody else out there was doing it. Women are not single, especially if she's a single mom. I mean, single moms are the community concubines, but they become very adept at introducing themselves to men and talking to men and whatnot, his financial status notwithstanding. But females are always going to make sure they got a backup plan. There's always a bunch of guys shooting at them that they're saying no to, or they're not saying no to him, but they're not saying yes either. So that's where the orbiter thing comes in. But females are never single because they've always got orbiters. Now, if they weren't interested in him, he wouldn't be orbiting because she would shoot his ass down and make it clear to him, hey, bruh, you might as well quit with all that damn orbiting because I'm never going to tell you to land. No, they want guys orbiting, so just in case she needs to pull a trump card on you, when she does get ready to show you the real damn thing, now she can go ahead and dial up an orbiter and tell him, okay, you are clear to land.
Jason, do you think, and I have this thing in me that's making me think this way, do you think it's possible that if there were no orbiters, it could have potentially worked? Because I think like people just got into her head and she doesn't have her own mind. Because she starts saying weird.
Okay, who are the people?
Her friends, her family, some of her family members.
Okay, well those not orbiters.
Okay.
So the folk you're complaining about, those were not even the orbiters. So if you're trying to figure out some way to rationalize that we wouldn't have ended up here, you're going to end up here regardless.
Yeah.
even if she got to get up and walk out on her own with no man to go to eventually, because a lot of females are self-destructive. So the bottom line is, like Finesse 2 Times said, when the hoe is ready to go, the hoe ready to go.
Right.
I need you fellas to understand that. Finesse 2 Times told you it's the damn truth, nigga. When the hoe ready to go, she ready to go. She doesn't. I mean, why do you think that women are so much of the homeless population sleeping under overpasses? Sometimes they ain't even got no plan. So she's informed by her emotions. They go off and go do things. Usually they try to line a man up, but they can't even if they do line a man up, you can't guarantee he's gonna stay.
Right.
But the bottom line is, when she's ready to bounce, she's ready to bounce, even if she hasn't really thought it through. But the bottom line is, you were the means to an end. You know, she was looking for whatever the next step was going to be. They want her situation is very, very tenuous and very unstable. So they're looking for somebody who's stable, reliable. And by that means that you are more committed to her than she is to you. Most likely from the very beginning, you gave off a bunch of signs that you were, whatever she was selling, you was buying. And she was looking for that. Single moms, you know, the other thing is, you all don't consider single moms as a whole entity. You don't consider them as a whole person. And by that, what I mean is that, how old was she when you met her?
39.
Nigga, what?
I'm pretty much near her age, but yeah, like I said, I wasn't thinking like this.
Nigga, what?
Dude, I'm just saying, 39. How old were you?
I think it was like 38. I'm like not that older from her. I'm like, she's a little bit older than me. So.
Okay. Well, bruh, I'm saying 39, and how old was her kid?
5.
Come on, man. Bruh.
No, I mean, look, I agree with you. My rationale at the time was my stepfather did it for me, but after speaking to my stepfather, because all this stuff happened.
No, it ain't.
After I spoke to him, dude, I wish I had spoken to him before.
No, it is not. No, y'all niggas need to stop with this nonsense. You're lying. You're out here. You weren't. I said it. Y'all need to stop with the damn lying. The truth is that you were out here. You were low achieving. You were not competitive. You went for the low hanging fruit. You were not willing to compete for something higher. She was She was the easiest knockdown, and you went for it and tried to transform a hoe into a housewife because you were unwilling to compete for something more serious. And these chicks are seeing y'all a dime a dozen, man. You are not rare. Y'all are a dime a dozen. This ain't about your stepdaddy. This is about you. You were looking for an easy win, and what you found out is that that's the toughest win there is.
Well, the thing is, Jason, and I'll end it here. All my relationships before was with European women and Spanish women. But
did you get any of them pregnant?
No, I would never do that because I didn't want a child, and I couldn't. Even if I could, I wouldn't be able to afford them.
Did you have a child with this woman?
Yeah.
Do you hear yourself?
No, I mean, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, my mind went somewhere else. I was thinking at the time, I was listening to Dr. Umar, and he was like, there are so many single mothers. And at the time, it made sense. I'm like, why aren't we as black men?
No. I'm not even going to play with this bull crap here. So let me get this straight. You were dating all them white women, and you didn't try to make a single mom out of none of them. He gets with a black female, and all of a sudden bombs away. Let's get this single mom.
I mean, are you saying I didn't try to make her a single mom?
Okay, why is it none of the white women you were with were eligible to be a single mom? Because you made this chick a single mom for a second time.
Wait, I'm not understanding the question.
Yeah, she came to you with one man's baby, and then you made her a single mom for a second time. She's a 2-time single mom.
Yeah, but I didn't make her that. She made herself that.
Okay,
because I'm still in the picture. I pick up my son almost,
Dude, okay. The bottom line is, were you married to her when you got her pregnant?
I don't believe in.
Okay,
in
then
stop
the garbage. You talking to grown men. You're talking to grown men.
I understand, but once I have a child,
okay, you're talking to grown men like we stupid.
And I told her that. I spoke to her
dude,
about that.
you talking to grown men like we stupid. You talking to grown men like we little kids and we stupid. Don't sit up here and play with us like that. We're not children here. We don't talk to grown. We do not talk to other grown men like we stupid. Don't do that.
So here's the thing, Jason.
Okay, leave that. This is how you got in this mess to begin with. Leave that little old childish garbage you're trying to play right now for them hoes. You don't come over here around grown men and talk like this. You made her a single mom for the second time, and she saw your dumb ass coming because you never should have done that in the first place.
But Jason, how can you say I made her a single mom?
Nigga,
I didn't make her a single
was that
mom.
your sperm?
No, but I'm saying.
Okay, then you made her a single mom two times.
If she decides to leave, I'm the one that made her a single mom.
Dude, why would you want to get her pregnant if she wasn't worth marrying? If she wasn't worthy,
I don't believe
if she wasn't, if she was not
states.
worthy of your name, why was she worthy of your genetics?
She is worthy of my name, just not by the state.
But if she's not worthy, if you don't have enough faith that she's worth that level of risk, if you don't,
I don't believe in faith.
If you don't
believe,
go by faith. And this is how you ended up where you are. By the way, y'all see how he keeps talking, by the way?
I apologize.
This nigga's living in a car down by the Save-A-Lot, but he's the smartest damn thing in the world. And this is how you ended up here, because your judgment is what chose that female. And you're still trying to act like you're smart, man.
So wait a minute. So if I had married her,
like I said, you know this.
No, I'm just saying, if I had married her and she divorced me.
No, we're saying that it's a value judgment. Marriage is cheap. Children are expensive. You could have married her, and if things went bad after you married her, you could have annulled it within the first year or two and pay nothing. You lose nothing. You got her pregnant. You can't walk that backwards at all. You can't do anything about that. So if you were too wary and if you were too scared to give her your name, that was your first clue that you should not be giving her your bloodline. You didn't even think she was worthy of your name.
Jason, we have two different belief systems.
Okay, but we have one law.
We don't have
two different belief systems. We have one law. And if you are not legally married to a woman, she has no enforceable rights.
What?
Yes, silly. That's the way that works.
Right. Yeah, but that's if you go by the state, though.
Sir, the state is the only one that can enforce those rights. You can't enforce them arbitrarily.
We can have an agreement.
Okay, no, sir, how'd that work out for you?
I mean, I'm saying, regardless if we had married
how did your freestyle and freewheeling way of doing things, how'd that work out for you?
If I'd gone with the state.
Okay, let's try this a second time. How did your freestyle and freewheeling way of doing things work out for you?
But I'm saying that's irrelevant.
Yeah, did you all know this? That's a simple question, sir. If your way is better, then tell us all how it worked out for you.
It worked out terribly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So with the state, it would have gone better?
No, what I'm saying is that was a litmus test that should have told you, why am I having children with this woman? Because you sitting here complaining that she got the kid and you sitting in a Subaru. Well, bruh, the fact that you were too scared and too wary to marry her, that was your clue. The baby is way more serious than the marriage. You weren't willing to even marry her. That was your first clue. Then what the hell am I doing getting her pregnant?
Wait. The pregnancy wasn't because, okay, I think we're misunderstanding each other, Jason.
No, I'm not misunderstanding anything. You're just silly.
So do you know the Hebrew Israelites? We don't go. I mean,
and how'd that work out for you?
But I'm saying, regardless,
you can go, sir. And how did it work out for you?
So wouldn't you admit that?
And how did your belief system pan out for you?
But you're trying to come back.
If your belief system is reliable, then you can tell us all how great it turned out for you.
I'm not saying it's reliable.
Then thank you. Then don't raise your belief system to me, because by your own admission, your belief system was a dud and it failed you.
Or maybe I failed me on my belief system.
Okay, well, you chose the belief system.
Right.
All right. So there you go. You're the coach of the team, and you're the failure there. The bottom line is, it doesn't change anything. A grown man with any sort of competence understands, if this woman is not worth my name, she's damn sure not worth my legacy. If your animal instincts are telling you, I can't marry her, that's too much of a risk, then why are we having children with her?
That makes sense.
And then he's sitting up here crying about that. Dude, if she wasn't worth
marrying... I mean, I had to push you because I'm not going to get you on the phone.
If she wasn't worth marrying... then that's your animal instincts telling you she's not worth my children.
Right.
She was never supposed to get pregnant because she couldn't even make it to the altar. You judged her unworthy of going to the altar. And she wasn't supposed to have no kids. Well, I'm gonna have the
And
kids.
you're right. There were
I'm
red
gonna have
flags.
the kids anyway. Now she's gonna be tormenting you for the next 20 years.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I thought I could do something. I don't know. It was wrong. You're right. It was off.
Now imagine what would have happened if you had exercised some masculinity and said, "Yeah, I'll sleep with the broad, but I'm not getting her pregnant." Now she would have. Now she would have. Now she would have still been talking to and sleeping with her baby daddy. She probably would have been talking to other dudes, but guess what? You would have been able to get up and walk away.
So here's the thing, Jason, and here's a testament to your correctness. So 3 months in, things started changing. So she was having less sex, and I'm like scientific, so I used to like note down how less sex we were having, and I brought it up to her because I'm very open, and she didn't think it was serious. She didn't take it seriously at all. And then I said to myself, you need to stop having sex with her before she has a baby. We went to New York, did a pregnancy test, and she's pregnant. Now, obviously, I didn't run away, but I knew I messed up. I was like, wow. So there's a lot more to this story, but you're 100% correct.
Well, like I said, at this point right here, she's basically got you where she wants you at in that regard as far as disrupting your peace of mind. So that's going to be a situation right there. Fellas, I'm not here to police you. Do what you do. What I am telling you is that being a man means that you recognize trouble. You recognize when somebody is not worthy, and you don't be so desperate and so lonely and mommy and daddy issues that you make decisions that you cannot walk away from. The number one sign of discipline is you make sure that you can go into a place, but you leave that place where it is. The problem for you was not getting involved with the single mom. The problem with you is that you signed up to be the next jackass to make a permanent connection to her. When in reality, she should have been for amusement park purposes only. You holler at her when you come through. She gonna be sitting right there. Now here's the killer part. You know what really makes you a dumbass? There's nothing that you did with her that she's not still sitting there for. You could have still been sleeping with her and laying up with her today, throw her a few dollars, and she would still be sitting there right now. You would have all the sexual access. You'd have all the social access. She gonna pitch and moan regardless. But you would have had all of the pluses, and you would be obligated to none of the minuses. And eventually she gonna get up and leave because that's what hoes do. But guess what? She gonna get up and leave with none of your money and none of your legacy and no ability to disrupt your life after that. So it may be a bummer because, it's one less number in your phone that you can call. Understood. And guess what? All she can do is go sit and poke her lip out and be mad about it. What she cannot do is sit up here and obligate you to her for the rest of your life. Now that she can't do. Fellas, my problem with y'all is not sleeping with single moms, strippers, hoes. That's not my issue with y'all. My issue with y'all is y'all start trying to wife them up and make permanent attachments to them. And a man who desires to be a woman's servant, y'all think that's fatherhood or something. That's not fatherhood. That's slavery. Y'all are desiring to be their servants. When you place somebody into a position of authority over you, that's you making yourself their servant.
Yeah. And the worst part is I had a great opportunity at my job to level up. Now I'm like, I have to climb from the bottom again, So, but it's cool though. I don't mind. I know how to get there. It's just tougher.
Okay, but my whole thing about it here is I'm not going to sugarcoat that either, because how old are you now?
I'm 40.
Okay. So when I hear somebody talking about I'm starting over at 40,
I'm not starting over.
That's what you just said.
But what I mean is, like, it's been a year since my last contract.
Okay.
So,
well, I want you all to be dealing with life from a position of strength. I want you to be dealing with life from a position of advantage. And life is hard enough for a black man out here, period. When you put obstacles in your own way, then life doesn't become difficult, it becomes impossible.
Yeah.
And the real thing is for you to recognize where you really went wrong. Where you really went wrong is you fell for the age-old sawbone, I'm going to turn a hoe into a housewife. She gonna be an easy win. Yeah, she got a kid, but that knocks down the competition that I got to beat out. So her standards ain't gonna be terribly high, and it'll be an easy win. I'm like, fellas, okay, come on, dudes.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, man. I had to call.
Give me a call back in 6 months.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't blame it on stepdaddy. Don't give me none of that. Don't talk about your stepdaddy. Don't talk about none of that. I'm not trying to hear any of it. I want the other fellas out here. There's a bunch of young fellas who listen to me right now. There's a bunch of young cats who listen to me right now. The reason I tell you guys not to deal with single moms is because I trust you not to do what he did. That has been the thing I've been saying now going on 2 decades. The issue is not you fooling with a single mom. The issue is, can I keep you from sitting up here trying to make a wife out of her? If you fellas were just sitting up here laying up with them and then going the hell home, this would be a whole different conversation. If I could depend on men to be reliable, that you sleep with the single moms and then take your ass home. If I could rely on you to do that, I'd be like, okay, it wouldn't be a conversation. Fellas like that going on 40 years old, I can't rely on them to just, hey, can you lay up with her and send her home? I need these males out here not to be so damn dog-ass desperate for a relationship. It's the females are free agents and the males are out here demanding relationships. Damn! The females are free agents and the males are out here desperate to be claimed. I wish I could get a broad to say I'm hers. This is where we at today. The fellas want to be claimed and the females want to be free agents. The fellas are looking for somebody to propose to them and the females are looking to be free. If you could depend on these fellas, I need men today to get accustomed to the idea of having sex and going home, having sex and leaving. Every fella out here, if he gets a female, he's trying to figure out some way to lock her down and keep her where she is, which is why that bozo, no disrespect, dude, but this is silly. He's sitting up here getting her pregnant because he figured that was going to take her off the market, and all that did was put him over a barrel. I need males today to get accustomed to the idea of having sex and going home, having sex and leaving. This idea that, wait a minute, how am I going to lock her down? Nigga, you can't lock no female down unless she is just really into you. This is not chattel slavery. If the game ain't strong enough and the name ain't strong enough, then the clock is ticking. Even under the best of circumstances, the damn clock is probably ticking anyway with the caliber of females we got out here today. But we got a bunch of dudes out here looking to get claimed. We got a bunch of dudes out here looking for a female to make them emotionally stable. So that's, if you want to know, I've been saying this now literally for over a decade. If I could depend on you fellas to just lay up and roll out, it would be different. We would have a whole different conversation. Okay, but this generation of males is not disciplined like that. They get in bed with a female, any female, and they start falling in love. They get in bed with her, and next thing you know, his brain is turned off and he in love. And he's trying to figure out, he make it light with this heifer, disregarding her sexual history. This chick was 39 years old. Do you realize how many other men been dribbling them draws for 2 decades? Damn! Do you realize how many other dudes have been dribbling them draws for 2 damn decades? By the time she met you, she is bitter, she is angry, she is vindictive. And as I told y'all, she's thinking with all single mothers think, I got to get him before he gets me. I got to get him before he gets me. And she was like, okay, I got him. I really don't understand it with this generation of males out here, man. They just, everything they lay up with, they trying to figure out how to, I don't know if it's mommy issues or whatever the case may be, but they're trying to lock down anything. Let me get her into bed and then let me see if I can lock her down for the rest of her days. How can I keep her from leaving? Knowing she's a hoe, knowing she's a slut. No, nigga, you just got her off the pole at Magic City. And what I'm saying is that, okay, I'm not dissing you for that. I'm not downing you for that. What I'm saying is, okay, she's shown you what her market value is. Why are you operating like she's different than that? I told y'all, I'm not mad at niggas for wanting Brittany Renner. I'm like, okay, 10 years ago, are you kidding? Now, Brittany, when she was at the top of her damn game, Brittany Renner from 10 years ago, you damn right I'd have been right. I don't want to follow up behind Drake.
Nigga, please.
I don't want to follow up behind Drake. I will say that right there. There's a lot I want to do. I don't want to follow up behind Drake. So if I can avoid that one, okay. Other than that, are you kidding me? What are you talking about? Okay, but I'm not trying to be no stepdaddy. I'm not trying to be one, and I'm not trying to be enticed or coerced into being one. Not signing up for it. I need fellas to be able to do that. It's like, hey, Brittany, it's like, I already done told y'all right there. I mean, if Brittany was on my cell phone right now, she called me up. I'm like, oh, I'm going to take the call. You think I won't when I will. If Brittany called me up right now, I'm taking the call. I don't know what the rest of y'all doing on Friday night, but Jason gonna answer the phone. Like Ghostbusters. I'm gonna answer the phone. What I'm not gonna do is try to figure out how to be stepdaddy. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that one. I'm like, Brittany, you got me for the weekend. You do not have me for the PTA. Call what's his face? He's still in the NBA. Call him. That's what he for. He's for the kid. I'm for you. That's the boundary right there. Right there. Let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get Caleb up here on Zoom. All right, we got Caleb up here on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
What's happening, TVA? Long time no hear from. This is actually your boy One Love.
Man. All right, brother, One Love. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, it seems like deja vu. We did this before. It ain't Kendra G that's the issue. It's females like Tamarin that's dangerous. It's that Kendra G, this is my words, not yours, want to put that disclaimer out. Kendra G is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's saying, oh, Tamarin still fine, 54. Oh, she this, she that. But it's the fact that Tamarin would actually follow, you know what I mean, what Kendra G is saying. And the reason I say Kendra G is stupid is just not words. It's by definition. Ignorance is not knowing. Stupidity is being willfully ignorant. So she don't look up stuff, you know what I'm saying, and check it out and fact check stuff. She just say stuff.
Well, no, I mean, look, she's got an ideology that she's mostly glummed off of other people. She's picked up shticks from other folks, particularly Kevin Samuels after he died. So she's trying, she doesn't have game. She's trying to get that together. She also suffers from something else. I mean, when you're cute and dark skinned with great big breasts on you, then you don't have to have a lot of smarts. So she's been able to get jobs. She's been able to get on television shows, radio shows based on them double D cups alone. She hasn't actually had to develop what you talking about, smarts, intelligence, logic, reasoning, and ideology. She hasn't had to do that. She's just had to be able to squawk back at you. Now she's being asked to flesh out the ideology, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're seeing all kinds of gaps in your reasoning and inconsistencies, and it doesn't really work. So there's where the difference comes in.
Right. And then when it comes to the dangers of a Tamarin, Tamarin is on a different level than Kendra G. I ain't simping for none of that, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is Tamarin was the one who was saying, hey, we ain't looking for nobody to pay for my wigs because she on her own. But because she got this dude, of course, which is not what they was portraying tall, dark, handsome, short, white, pink, and whatever. But Cameron will actually let somebody like Kendra G lead her, and she'll start looking at her man. You know what I'm saying? Negatively.
I disagree with that. I don't think Kendra made any impression on Tamron in that way. I think she was No, I don't think Kendra was leading anything. I think Tamron was more concerned about having an interesting program. She was concerned about having interesting content. I don't think that she took Kendra seriously. I think she was just letting Kendra be entertaining. But I don't think she took Kendra seriously, as evidenced by the fact that, Kendra was making compliments on Tamron. Tamron didn't say thank you. She didn't acknowledge it. She didn't talk about her husband after that. So Kendra was there for the comic relief, and she was there to fill for content, and she certainly performed her job. But in order for Kendra to be able to lead Tamron, Kendra would have to have something that Tamron wants. And there really isn't any part of Kendra's life that Tamron wants, because Tamron's already been there. And they're both basically in the same boat. One of them took the bailout. The other one is still waiting to see if they can get a better deal. And reality is, so they're both really in the same boat. So that's why Kendra doesn't have anything that Tamron wants. There's no part of Kendra's life that Tamron's like, let me listen to her so I can see how to get that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I you know what I'm saying? I appreciate a different perspective. How do you feel about the way I looked at it was that Tamron was speaking hers, her feeling, and she got a man. Kendra G doesn't. But when Kendra was putting out what she was saying, she was kind of, you know what I mean?
But Tamron didn't actually say anything, though. That's another thing right there. Folks are acting like Tamron said something. Tamron just really kind of made some offhanded comments or replies to what Kendra said. But Tamron wasn't, she was just doing the Shannon Sharp thing. She wasn't actually giving any, show me where she was giving any insights of her own. She was just saying, oh, we can't do this. I don't know if that would work. I would be intimidated. That's not an insight. That's not an insight. That's not a correction. So she was giving some replies to Kendra, but she was not offering her own insights, perspectives, corrections. She didn't do any of that. If y'all go back and listen, she didn't actually do any of that. She was basically goading Kendra and priming her to keep talking because she's giving great content. But Tamron wasn't really offering any insights of her own. That's what I'm saying. When Kendra brought up her husband, that's what I'm saying. When Kendra brought up her husband, Tamron did not make a single comment about her husband. Kendra brought it up. Tamron did not follow up with it, and she didn't do any of that.
You're actually right. It wasn't an agreement. I was looking at it on the absence of pushback, but she gave a little bit of pushback, but she, you're actually right. She didn't give insight. So it was for entertainment on Kendra. But what I was saying was dangerous about it was the fact that a lot of these females aren't as headstrong, and they'll allow somebody to come inside their house, you know what I'm saying, and bring stuff that they wasn't even thinking about, but because another female said it. But you know what? You actually gave me a different perspective on that, TBA.
Well, I'm going to tell you something here. I don't think that's a worry. Females do not see Kendra G as an authority. So I'm talking about the audience. Her audience does not see her as an authority. She's not somebody that they look up to. She's not somebody that they admire. They don't see her as a role model that they want to, imitate. They really don't. She's just the host of an internet program. She's not somebody that they respect. She's not somebody that they look up to. She's not somebody that they admire. And they've already seen what you and I see. They know about the dude that everybody's been talking about. Mm-hmm. They know about the wigs. So the women,
King Ashy Foot.
Yeah, women associate with Kendra, but they don't respect her. They don't respect her. They don't admire her. So she's using it for what it's worth, but I would strongly advise anybody not to be deceived. She is not somebody that they admire. They don't. She's just a chick who hosts an internet program. None of the women who call her up are listening to her or looking at her life and saying, I need to get that. That's not what they're doing. Not Tamron, not her audience, none of that. I'm very glad you brought that up because that does bring us to one more thing in that regard. If you go back and listen to what she was doing, you notice that Kendra was the loudest thing up there.
What? Of course.
Okay, this is something I want to remind you all of. That is something that you look for. Little man syndrome, fat woman syndrome. When a man is shorter, you notice he's louder. Yep. When a woman is fatter, you notice she's louder. So when people see that they have obvious deficiencies, they start getting louder. You'll notice that kind of thing. They had a whole panel of women up there. Kendra G was the loudest one. She was the most interrupting one. Now, I guess in one manner that's good for her because she spent up most of the airtime. And so she's the person people remember most. So in that regard, for her platform, mission accomplished. So that was good as far as an entertainment platform. But as far as a person, you notice she was the loudest thing, the most belligerent thing. What I'm saying is that, yeah, when guys are short and chicks are fat, when people ascertain that they have a deficiency, then you start to notice they become louder. They become more belligerent. They become verbally bullying. And so
in her, a lot of them up there.
In her case, that's what you notice. Okay, well, guess what? That's most of the black female population. So they recognize that when they see it too, and they respond in kind. So if she was winning, she would be carrying herself differently. So she doesn't fool any of them. She hosts her internet program, and that's what she does. And that's as far as the women who tune in and listen. Because here's the real thing. The women who call into her program, they're not calling to talk to her.
Right.
They're calling, trying to get men's attention. They're not even calling for her. So she's really an obstacle, even on her own program, to what her audience is trying to get to. They didn't even come there for her. So I would not really be worried about her sphere of influence. She ain't got one.
Okay. Yeah. What you saying is what I always say, game check game. Lanes don't recognize their lanes. And that's why they don't know why what keeps happening to them keeps happening to them. I got one question, one last question for you. You did put up the quick clip of Tyrannosaurus Burke. I want to ask you, when you saw what she said, you know, what she's trying to backtrack on the Me Too thing. How does?
Okay, I didn't play anything from Tyrannosaurus Burke. So
I'm sorry, I might be confused.
Yeah, you're probably thinking about another YouTube channel, but
I apologize for that, but I did want your opinion on it. If you saw it,
I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
If you saw, if
in
you
her
case,
like I say, in Tyranna's case, I think it's just eventually she'll just disappear and whatnot. She'll probably be one of them old chicks out there and whatnot. She'll find religion at some point. I imagine eventually she's gonna find religion. That's where she's gonna end up. Little old church lady. Mark my words. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, Tyrannosaurus Burke, watch. One day she's going to be a little old church lady. That's where she's going to be. Little old church lady at somebody's church talking crazy. All right, we got Tony here on Zoom. Tony, what's on your mind?
What's going on, Uncle Jay? I wanted to bring to your attention that since you was kind of talking about Kendra G, there was some other streamers that came out. You wouldn't know them if I said their names and everything. I know the rules. We don't mention other streamers on your platform. They brought out the fact that her boyfriend is a Nigerian scammer that just got out of feds for scamming and everything. And I just wanted to see what you thought about that, since she's kind of all big about checking a man's W-2s and where he works and everything like that.
Those who can do, those who can't talk. So the bottom line is, Kendra G, if the appearances and the presentation really were hitting like they were supposed to, she wouldn't have time to do all this talking, first of all. She wouldn't have time for that. As far as old boy and all the paperwork that's out there and whatnot, I mean, it speaks for itself. Is there anybody surprised or shocked? Is there anybody who's like, oh, no, that could never be? No, I mean, that's exactly what it is, because a man who would have to extend himself to... I was the guy who talked about this years ago, and folks out there looking at you. I ain't gonna say his name just yet, but one of these days I'm gonna have to say his name because it's, bruh, you dirty mackin'. But I was the guy who talked about Kendra G and her Bentley when she first posted it. I was the one who told y'all, by the way, hey, former car dealer, I know what year that is. And I'm like, okay, I see how you're doing this before the car market was upside down, so she was able to get that was back when you could get them real cheap. And what I'm saying is she is trying to project to you what she expects. So think about that for a few moments. If I bought a Bentley for myself, if I bought a used Bentley for myself, what does she expect from you? Since she expects you to do better than her. Oh no, she wants a Rolls Royce from you. Brand new Rolls Royce. No, a Bentley ain't gonna get it. If she got a used Bentley for herself, then you will need to get a new Rolls Royce. So she's not putting that Bentley out there for nothing. She's putting it out there to say, okay, here's my proof of what I can do for myself. And non-verbally, that's supposed to communicate to you. And you have to do double this. You got to double my effort. And I don't have to talk about it because you already saw it. So it don't have to be discussed anymore. Now you know what you got to do to make me happy. And the real thing is whether or not you're going to go for it. And the bottom line is competent men don't grab loud 40-somethings to extend themselves that far for. Now, what she's going to really be looking for, like I said, some guy who's nostalgic. He's been listening to her on the radio for a decade, and he's willing to build up his worth so he can just give it all away to finally get to grip them butt cheeks that he's been dreaming about. Either that or she's going to go some 60-year-old dude who's out the game. And, he's delusional, but he's willing to go ahead and cash out too. So she's looking for somebody who's going to cash out and crash out. It's not what she wants, but that's where she's going to be. Until then, brother, she's not going to get nobody to do that. Men, the type of men that she really desires, she's not the kind of woman that we do that for. She's not. She isn't. Yeah. And furthermore, well, Jason, she can change. You're not going to like this, folks, but who's going to wait around for a 45-year-old to change? Why would you be stupid enough to think she could? And even if she could, what is your return on investment for waiting for a 45-year-old to change? What's your return going to be? So just like she wants the men to be already made, brother, you and I are both old enough to know, hey, she in her 40s, she got to be made already. You already got to be there. She ain't, there's no reason to wait.
Yeah, that's true. And that young man, supposedly he's supposed to be younger than her too. So she caught one out fresh out the crib.
No, she got the one that would get her. She took the one who would take her because the bottom line is, like, if she's in Chicago or Atlanta, I think she's in Chicago. But
Chicago.
Bottom line is, bro, like I say, when she's showing that Bentley, she's showing you what she expects. She's showing that, right. And what she's proving is, yeah, dudes, number one, the fellows who can do it are few and far between, but number two, they're looking for somebody half her age. Somebody who got a runway. There's no man, zero, none, zip, nada. None of us are looking for a 45-year-old to start a family with. You have a 45-year-old who you lay up with, that's cool. But you're not saying, you know what, my ideal candidate to start a family with would be 45.
Right.
You're not doing that. You're not doing that. So for what she wants, the guys are looking for somebody half her age. We are not looking to go take you to Dr. Kevorkian so he can play with your fallopian tubes and inseminate, all the little wackiness. We're not looking for that. We don't want to think that that's the process we got to go through to start a family with you. Fertility doctors and treatments, and here, take these pills and drink this magic elixir. We ain't thinking about all that, man. We just look, let me plug and play. And 9 months later, let's go ahead and be done with this. We're not thinking about all these complications and freezing your eggs and all this old garbage. We ain't thinking about that. Why don't you go get you a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old that their maintenance is up to code? Why? I'm just saying I'm not saying that she can't. Just going to be the options will be very few. You're going to look like Tamron Hall. You're going to be looking real crazy when you do get the guy. And it's going to be, the guy that you really want. No, you're not his prime candidate. You're not.
But she acting like online that she kind of she ready to crash out about her man, because one of the streamers mentioned how she kind of came at her, and you would know her little bald-headed ass, the streamer that I'm talking about. But yeah, she was talking about Kendra was crashing out on her about her man. So
no,
I don't know.
Kendra didn't think that people knew who he was. I think,
Yeah.
or at least whatever story he gave her, she went for it. Most likely what happened, he fed her a story and she didn't do no due diligence. She just went for it. And then she's upset because the internet was like, wait a minute, let me check the paperwork. But I think what happened was he gave her a story, she went for it.
Yeah.
She actually believed whatever he was selling, she believed it. So when she tell you about show the W-2s and show the pay stubs and whatnot, and this fella here didn't have to show, obviously he didn't show anything. And she still went for it.
Yeah.
Now here's the killing part about it though, bruh. That's not what folk have an issue with. The issue here is that, okay, Kendra, if that's the way you living, why don't you have that conversation?
Right.
If you just had that conversation, it'd be a whole different thing. But it just makes it crazy when you sit up on the Tamron Hall show and say that's what it is. Is that right there? That's the protocol you're using. It's like that's not the way it is. That isn't. That's the issue that folk have. If she would just say that that's what it is, or that he was a jump off or whatever, okay, that would be different. Let's have that conversation. Because here's the point. I'm glad you brought this up, Tony. Because here's the point. I talked about Fannie Willis. You can be DJ Hopalong and sleep with Fannie Willis. I mean, Fannie Willis was, she's sleeping with an assistant district attorney now, but before him, it was a damn DJ. A local DJ was laying up with the damn district attorney of Fulton County. Think about that for a few moments. She done went to school for a decade, pursued this career, and a local disc jockey can lay up with the DA of Fulton County. And that story goes around all over the place. Okay, what I'm saying is that if that's what the standard is, stop telling us that we have to do all this other stuff when that's not what it is. Because we're not having an honest conversation. You're trying to talk us into some mess. Why don't we have a for real conversation about where we at? Hey, Kendra G, if a fella making $50,000 a year can lay up with you, why don't we have that conversation about how dudes can get what they want at 50 G's a year? Why would not have that one? Instead, let's have a real conversation about what's really going on instead of you trying to gaslight us and tell us that, oh, that would never happen. No, let's have that one. So we can explain, okay, well, what is about him that you liked about that, so we can have a real conversation instead of the gaslighting. You did not have to be a multimillionaire to lay up with Kendra G. You didn't have to do it.
But do you think it's more of a, because, you know, like you said, as they get older, the freight starts to cost a little bit more. And you think at that point, when they're at that age, it's more or less they stop looking for that dummy who's going to pay that freight and then just go with somebody who's just going to give them that attention.
Only if they have no other choices. For someone like Kendra G, she's holding out for the fellow who can go get her the 2025 Bentley Continental. Now, let me explain to you why that is. Okay, so she running around with her 2010 or 2012, whatever the case may be. Y'all got to understand something. When the cars are a decade old or whatever, especially when you're dealing with exotics, you're dealing with outdated tech. You're dealing with outdated features. In a lot of cases, they don't even have touch screens. So if you're going to get something that's up to date, somebody else is going to have to carry that freight. To keep you living this fantasy, with keeping up with this expectation you have, somebody else is going to have to carry that, bro. Somebody else got to do that. Just like women don't feel physically secure, they also don't feel financially secure. What? Just like women need physical reassurance, they also want financial reassurance. So in other words, I don't care how much money she makes, she doesn't want to spend any of hers. As far as she's concerned, that's more risk, that's less security. She would much rather spend yours and keep hers in her pocket and know it's there.
Yeah.
So when she wants that new Bentley, she is not trying to figure out how she's going to pay for it. So she needs somebody else to do it. She's never going to run out of that. And now, here's the other problem. Now she's famous. Bruh, you're never going to be able to walk away from that. Old boy from the Cosby Show, we can go down the list. All the girls who are on Baywatch, how many of them are living on the street today. Dude, once you're famous, that doesn't ever go away. That doesn't. Okay, so that expectation of what you're supposed to be with and what you're supposed to have and who you're supposed to be with, that's not going to go away either.
Yep.
So that's my answer to your question. Yeah, she might go. If she does, she's going to have to disappear from the public eye altogether. You know when a female has crashed out and it didn't work, when she disappears from the public eye altogether. When they do that, that's your signal. Oh, okay, that's a wrap. You're done. Your jersey's retired. It didn't work out. You've crashed and burned and failed. Okay. When they go from being fully visible to nobody's seen them, oh, okay, that's over. Don't believe me? Look at En Vogue. We can go down the list. Oh, okay, that's over. All right. Serena Williams. Oh, am I going to go there? You damn right I'm going there. Now, Serena Williams, brother, you know this, 10 years ago, Serena Williams would have demanded to be with a Drake or an athlete. Take a look at what she married. You take a look at what she married. He doesn't have to be athletic. He doesn't have to be good looking. He doesn't have to be none of that. Okay, and then what happened right after that? She's done with tennis. Oh, hell.
She did marry a billionaire, though.
Right, but what I'm saying, though, is that take a look at what happened, though. She's done with tennis. So, in other words, she's now going to recede from the public spotlight altogether, which is what she did. Now, she showed up at the Super Bowl to troll Drake. And by the way, that's not a good sign. No. If your wife is sitting up here on the Super Bowl trying to troll her ex, that's not a good sign, by the way. Right. Yeah, in case nobody figured it out, by the way, that's not a good sign.
That's just like Sierra dressing Russell like Future.
Oh, in some ways it's worse because it's like in her case, she hadn't really said very much. You've gone out of your way to do that. Yeah. So in some ways, I would be more concerned about it because at least in Sierra's case, they had a kid. At least in their case, they had a kid. Serena's like, okay, you didn't even have a baby with Drake. I can understand Kendrick crashing out, but what are we doing here? So I'm just saying, the real thing shows itself. So she wanted to recede from the public spotlight. She's also showing you that I think my value was before you. My value was when I was with Drake. I don't get any value from being married to the Reddit guy. So that's what I really see there happening, and that would be, to me, that would be concerning if I saw that. But the bottom line is, yes, somebody's going to have to carry the freight on that, and if they don't, they're going to recede from the spotlight, and they don't want to be seen. That's when you know it's over. In her case, she's receded from the spotlight. She doesn't want to be seen. Yeah, because ain't nothing fly happening. There's nothing to brag about. I married a billionaire. Bro, that don't carry no weight. The crazy part, because his money we don't get the use of any of his money. So we're not impressed by that. He ain't gonna buy nothing for us. So how much are we supposed to geek out over your husband over there and what's going on? The other thing is if he's a deviant or a square or awkward, it's like, baby, he got to have $1 billion to tolerate that.
Yeah, he all of those.
You would have to pay millions of dollars to get somebody to tolerate that. Okay, I don't want to be in a situation where I got to tolerate it. So, and a lot of us get the idea. It's like, we don't see very much about him. But hey, he's a cool dude to hang out with. He does not give us the cool dude to hang out with vibe at all. Not one bit. Him, the rapper Eve's husband, Venus Williams and her dude, Tamara Mowry, now to her white husband, instead of being talking about folks on food stamps. And none of these people strike us as the cool dude to hang out with. We all like, okay, if you took away his paper, you would just be you'd be on the episode of Dexter. That's who you'd be. I'll let you have the last word.
Nah, I appreciate you, Uncle Jay. You always dropping game out here. We need a real live archive so the youngins can actually pull that stuff up, so they can be better off for the future. But I always appreciate you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Yeah, like I say, I mean, when they get ready to cash out and crash out, that's what it is. When they get ready to cash out and crash out. Like I say, I ain't hating on Kendra. I'm just saying, hey, baby, we getting old. You trying to run your numbers up as you get older. The older she gets, the more expensive she wants to get. Just because you've seen more expensive things as you've gotten older, that doesn't mean you qualify for them. You now need to be aware of it. And it's like, okay, I'm going to get me a dude to take care of that. All right, where they at? Because so far we've seen you don't have to be a millionaire to lay up with Kendra G. You don't. Okay, then stop telling us we have to be. If we ain't gotta be a billionaire to do that, don't tell us we have to be. Now, here's where men get it better. We don't tell women lies like that. We don't say that. We'll tell hoes we won't marry them. We ain't gonna say, I would never sleep with you. You's a hoe. Brittany Renner, your sexual history is terrible. I would never sleep with you. I want to get her tested first. What? She come back with a clean bill of health, from Dr. Strangelove. I'm just like, okay, don't tell us you ain't if you would. Don't do that, fellas. It's just like, if you would, it's like, okay, we'll just keep it real. Okay. Would never marry you, but your lightning strikes. But don't sit up here and tell fellas, you got to be a millionaire to be with me and you got to pay for my wigs and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, but the fella you with ain't doing that. The fella you with ain't that dude. Can we have that conversation? The fella you with is not that dude. Okay, well, how did he make it work? Let's talk about how he got it to work. Since clearly the price isn't a millionaire. Yeah, that's what your ceiling is, but clearly your floor is far lower than $1 million. Okay, can we talk about what your dude is, the dude who is sleeping with you, who ain't a millionaire? Can we talk about how he pulled that off? So that we can all discuss what the price really is, rather than you pretending that the price is something else. Can we discuss that? Because that's an honest conversation to have right there. That's an honest conversation to have right there. Right there. And that would be far more useful. People out here lying about these things. No, he got to be a millionaire. And your baby daddies were never millionaires. The dudes you slept with weren't millionaires. The fella you with now isn't. Oh, he has to be tall and dark and handsome. No, he doesn't. Let's have a real conversation. They're just scared that it's going to kill their prospects. I'm like, baby, look at your prospects now. Let's just have a real conversation. At least for the young females, because that's the really treacherous part of it, is you're grossly misleading the young females, the generation after you. You're misleading them. On the one hand, you're telling them don't expect that, and on the other hand, you're telling them what you got to have. And it's like, okay, wait a minute, she's doing the same damn thing. Tell them the truth. Tell them that millionaire life that you wish you were living and whatnot, and somebody's going to pay for that Bentley, that's few and far between. Build a bear, you might want to wish for that one, but that's not going to happen for that. He's going to be the man of my dreams. Ho, please.
Nigga, please.
Stop it. Stop sitting up here telling men that we have to be everything and we got to be supernatural or we just don't fit the damn grade, and then we see who the hell y'all with. It's like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I don't want to be that dude. I do not want to be that. There's nothing about what he's doing I want to be like. And if that's what it's going to be, yeah, go ahead and bring him on over here so we can all take a look at him and have a real conversation and say, okay, is that the kind of guy I want to be like? Because what I'm saying is that, okay, is that the kind of guy you have to be like to be with Tamron Hall? Okay, that's the kind of guy who could be with Tamron Hall. Do you want to be like him? Is that what you aspire to be as a man? Does Tamron Hall inspire you to aspire to be that? Let's have a real conversation about that. I'm not clowning nobody. I'm not insulting anybody. I'm not demeaning anybody. I'm just saying, okay, if this is what the price really is, then stop telling these dudes they got to be Idris Elba with Drake money. Okay, stop telling them that. Let's talk about what you really would go for. Because let me tell y'all right now, to all the black males out there and whatnot, if you 5'6", it's like, wait a minute, Tamron Hall didn't give me the time of day when I was 5'6". Stop telling them that that was not acceptable when it clearly it is. Oh, well, it's acceptable if I'm down and out. Okay, don't be surprised when the men do it another way. Let's go ahead and discuss something else here tonight. For those of you who are not members of my Patreon, for those of you who have been following and whatnot, We are looking at taking the business on the road. I've been doing a lot of road work here. I've been doing a lot of moving around. I've been doing a lot of scouting. I've been doing a lot of looking at places. For those of you who are my patrons, you know that I've narrowed it down to 3 cities. And to be totally honest, I've really already made my decision. I've really pretty much narrowed it down where I want to be. And I've pretty much narrowed it down to where I want to go. It's really now about working out the logistics of it, because there's a lot that goes into that. But for those of you who are not aware, I mentioned this over the course of the last couple of years, but particularly 2023 and into 2023 and then 2024. Well, 2023 and 2024. I was talking about there would be changes and things like that. So certainly I'm looking at taking things to another place. I narrowed it down to 3 cities, but I'm just being honest with you all. I've pretty much already chosen the one I want. I've pretty much already chosen it. So basically at this point right now, I'm just getting things together to get it put together and to get set up where I'm going to be at. But essentially, I've already chosen where it's going to be. I've pretty much essentially already chosen that. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be putting things together. I'm probably going to take it slowly. Probably going to just dip my toe in the water a little bit and take it slowly and see how it goes. So it'll have a different look to things. It'll have a different feel to it. Some of you will be happy with it. Others of you will not be. And you know what? That's going to have to just be okay. If nothing changes, nothing changes. I know that a lot of folks love the way I do things, but just to give a recap on that, when I originally started on the internet going on 2 decades ago, I was really aiming for a radio format because as far as I was concerned, I was competing against Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity in radio. Well, that's not what you have anymore. You know, it's really video centric, so visuals play a large part in what people go for and things. Not that there are not audio formats out there and whatnot, because for Spotify and even for Joe Rogan, they do have an audio format for it, and that's great. That's wonderful. And I would like to continue that also, but I really want to, I think for viability, I think that you're selling yourself short if you don't have at least some avenue of visual product. So that's what I'm looking for. I know that's going to probably turn some folks off because they prefer an audio version of what we do. They prefer an audio format. And I get that. And I understand that. And for the folks who don't like it, thank you for the time that you've given. And we wish you well. But going forward, it is my desire to change that. And I'm going to change it. So there will be changes, and I think it's going to be better. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think it was going to make it better. I don't want to just do things for the sake of doing it differently. I'm doing it because I think it will make it better. I think there's a lot of stuff out there that goes one way and quite frankly is kind of lame. Some folks who were hot for a minute and they've fallen off, thank goodness. But going forward, I want to have something better in that regard. So for the folks who do not like change and do not like improvement and don't like innovation, you know, y'all are still wearing, you know, your Buster Browns or whatever. I'm going to let you go ahead and go to that. For those of you who are watching YouTube on your 1954 RCA Tube Master, I'm not going to try to yank you away from that. For those of you who are watching on your projection TVs, I'm not going to try to yank you away from that. For those of you who want to come along for the ride, keep your eyes and your ears open. Who knows? You might get to be a part of it. What? By the way, who knows? You might get to be a part of it. There is a possibility that you could be a part of it too. So, we'll see. Stranger things have occurred, I think you'll agree. Stranger things have happened. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, to my man Terrell Evans. Appreciate the middle course correction. The lessons were taught and will be studying. Salute to TVA. Thank you very much for your support. Also to K-Town 440, AB Promotions, JM, Mr. SF Black, Ivy Holistic. Everyone else there, thank you very much for your support. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our Patreon, the link is in the description. We do it every weekend, 12 noon Central Time. You are more than welcome to join us. We'll have more details going on there as well. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.